Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Tahmini de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışar mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sana yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Tahmini de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışar mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sana yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Tahmini de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışar mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sana yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Tahmini de aldım dur.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here.
We have to make sure everything is working properly. But what's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is time for us to see what Poland is going to be bringing in right here on the Always On Poland PUBG Mobile Season 2, day number 1. So we get ready to step onto the action to see what everybody's going to be bringing out onto the battlefield. Speaking about bringing things, we've got myself, DK, and of course I'm joined by Nep. Sure. Nep, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, DK. I am ready to see the action. I'm ready for these teams to turn on the action, unlike DK's mic, which isn't always on. They will be on their best behavior, on their best performance, and I can't wait to see what we got cooking tonight.
I can respect a little bit of a roast because you know what? It's the weekend. You got to get those roasts ready. Tomorrow is Sunday and it's the big roast day, right? So, yeah, excited to see what is going to be happening here. And, of course, we're going to be taking a look at our teams that are going to be stepping onto the plate. So, as I mentioned last week, we had Romania coming through here. Excited to see what Poland is going to be bringing onto the table. And, of course, this time around, we don't have a team like the Vicious over here, right? Last season, we did see the players from the Moneymakers actually step up and claim the prize, the victory. But that makes me curious as to who will be the ones to rise to the occasion here today. Of course, we'll be taking a look at those teams momentarily. But so with that, this being your first time over here, right? We've taken a look at a few of the teams and what happened in the previous seasons. Anything in particular you're excited to see here today?
Ooh, you know, I haven't covered Europe in such a long time that I'm just ready for everybody, honestly. Like, all of these names are kind of new to me, and so, like, I would love to see what these players have in store for us, what they can showcase in these finals. So for me, I think actually, I mean, it's such a basic answer, but I think every team I'm going to be really looking forward to.
Well, there we go. I mean, I think it's a fair statement saying that every team essentially has the opportunity today to blow us away, right? To secure as many points as they can, because that is the aim of the game. The teams are going to be chasing the top of that leaderboard, as we saw over on the Romanian side. But speaking of the teams, here we have our lobby. It is going to be MX coming in alongside the 721 Aggressors. We've got the BRBA over there, as well as in the zone. We've got Ozerox, a very familiar name. It almost feels like we saw them last week. We've got the Cam Rangers, Magma Team, Pumps Team, also one of those familiar names, alongside Roscar. We got the Caliphate Esports, and of course, One for All, Kill for Win, Big Baby Team Germany. We got Cam, Army, EU, and Motion. Now, it's interesting because last season we had a few of these teams also stepping up to the plate, right? Ozerox was here last season, Cam Army was here, Motion was here, as well as a few others. So I want to see what they're going to be bringing around this time, right? Are they going to look to step it up? And I mean, if we look at Cam Army last season, they finished all the way in that 7th position. Now, as we know, looking at the prize pool, which will be coming up pretty soon, right? It only extends up to a point. So if you want to ensure that you walk away with that share of the prize pool, you know what you got to do. You got to get out there. You got to get aggressive. And in doing so, solidify your position all the way up in the money slots.
You really do, especially when you consider we've only got 5 matches a day, right? This is a little bit of a different format from other teams, other tournaments rather. So we really have to make sure we are on the ball. All these teams do, because only 10 games. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big gap, a big difference, right? Only 2 games difference, right? 1 game a day, but it means so much. That's one less opportunity to get that big win. It's one less opportunity to get, you know, just 2 points ahead of your opponents. So it is going to be really interesting to see maybe how teams adapt to that, you know, that game difference, that game number difference.
Yeah, and of course, speaking about game numbers and game differences, right, we are going to be stepping onto a different map at the start of the day. We are going to be kicking it off with Rondo. Rondo being different from the other 2 maps that we are going to be playing as well. So I'm excited to see who's going to capitalize on those recall opportunities coming into today here, because we've seen this actually be prevalent across many different events, right, where teams don't necessarily capitalize on Rondo. There's a great chance for teams to just solidify and actually potentially run away with those eliminations. But it rarely happens, so maybe Poland could look to change things up coming into the proceedings here for today. But of course, we'll be taking a look at our map rotations very shortly to see exactly where we're going to be going to and how the teams are going to need to get that pacing situated.
We are indeed. It's interesting that you bring up the situation over on Rondo, right? Because for me, I've seen a lot of teams globally do a lot of different things on Rondo. Like some split, like 1-1-1-1 split, solo splits across the entire map. Some split early in the game, some 3-1 split game. But I think there's much room for just having your own style on Rondo. It's really a map that allows you to do pretty much whatever you want. So I would love to see another team coming in and just changing things up on Rondo.
Yeah, well, speaking about changing it up, we are going to be moving on, continuing to see what is going to be coming in next. It does sound like we might potentially be hopping into the action to get the party underway, as we are going to be starting with that double flight path. One coming in from the south, the other one coming in from that lovely western side. So we could expect to see quite a bit of focus being placed over onto Test Track and Neox Factory as well. So now it's all down to the spread. A few teams already starting to get themselves situated. You can see the garden down on that southern side already receiving a little bit of love. I'm curious to see though, right? Are we going to see teams going to Yulin or are they going to go to Danqing? Because each of those spots usually gets a little bit of focus, but it always depends on which region we're in.
That is true. That is actually really true. And Danqing for me has always been a surprising hot drop. We are going to get a hot drop on Danqing as we're talking about it. It is a bit of a surprising one because you have your obvious Neox Factory. Stadium was going to be a big one, but that rooftop just negates everything there, so that's not really a hot drop. Yulin, Tinlong Garden I thought might be a big one as well. But Danqing, I mean, there are a lot of interesting areas because it all is just a bunch of rooftops that you can get to very easily. But it has become a really popular spot, so it's interesting to see that unfold, and it looks like, yeah, we are going to get that hot drop coming in. So one team's gone. Okay, we got two teams doing the 2-1 split on that side, the 3-1 split rather, but Yulin is looking even. Ooh, nice shots coming in there from Amix. They just might get those first eliminations. We'll see.
Yep, this is definitely a good start for Amix to come in here. We got really quick on the trigger there, securing the elimination now. Deciding whether or not it is going to be worth the push to try and secure the points here. But an interesting spread coming out from that Quicks team, right? Amix rather, as they've gone for a rather wide position, pushing up in towards Yulin. They're, of course, now looking to adopt that revive strategy, right? Sending their fourth player out onto the recall station. But now Spike trying to kind of sneak his way around. I like the nade placement here, and I think especially for the players coming through from the side of Star, it is going to be a really difficult angle to hold.
Seeing where that was going to come through here, because now you do have it's ITZ T72, or sorry, it's Team 721 actually. That's going to be them on top of there. Looking so good, but everybody is just dropping like flies now. That push has not come the way that they wanted it to, and it looks like actually kill for win, having lost 3 of their players, getting that revive really, really quickly. It's really turning the tide around, but 721 now moving in really nicely timed here. Super, super just instant rotation coming through here. Nice push over onto the top. Obito has to just defend and avoid how many Molotovs, how many shots coming his way. But he's holding off just a little bit.
Yeah, all of those utilities could be coming in exactly onto the side of them. But for now, it does provide them a little bit of an opportunity to catch a quick breather, right? Obito definitely has to try and get himself properly patched up, while the rest of the Kill for Win team is just kind of looking for the setup. It is going to be Aggressor now knocking on the door here, as 721 is going to be trying to push. Ooh, a slightly divided approach here as they send the one player off for the flank. The other two trying to keep the front line pretty hot and heated. It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to reach up just yet. Of course, those wooden floors really helping the molly spread all the way out for Win, or not going to be caught out. Instead, is going to be looking to strike.
Ooh.
As you can see, Koni just locking in the play there, jumping off the window, going in for the cleanup. But is he going to be able to find it? S12K in hand, one shot away from getting the sweep, but instead gets swept away. No, Obito having to hold strong.
I'm surprised he missed that, actually. That was a great angle that he had, but unfortunately, Hoji just a little bit too good with it and able to keep his team alive here. That's going to be everybody out of Yulin except for T71. 721, that's not even the number. Anyway, moving over to Big Baby here. So we're going to ignore that as, oh, it does go on down, so that's going to be one more over Pumps. So they're there for 2 points now. I'm not even sure where they are right now. It looked to be maybe... Where is this? I'm trying to remember my nap. My map.
Your nap, yes, your nap will definitely come in handy here, as we can see them very close to an N right over there. So, yeah, it's one of the places with an N in the name. Maybe it's Neox Factory? No, because it doesn't end with an N, right? It starts with an N. Speaking about start, we've got Ozrox Esports here also now getting ready to keep the ball rolling. Of course, we did see them last weekend playing as well. They performed quite well. I'm curious to see how they're going to be performing this weekend. But also, I think especially looking at the players from One for All, right? They also really started applying quite a bit of pressure. Now it's going to be Bump's team. Also, one of those returning squads looking to spray across the way. Big Baby trying to put a little bit of distance here. And so far, it does seem like it's actually been paying off for Big Baby.
I know where Pumps were. They were outside Tinlong Garden. That makes sense.
Oh,
I believe.
yes.
I think they've come up to the north now from there, and they have found Big Baby. They're just continuing this push through. Pumps has had to eat some dirt. Had to have a quick snack time just to replenish his energy, and the rest of the team now have to try and help him out here. We'll see. But Ozrox up to 7 eliminations. That's the power of Neox Factory, DK. You can get so many eliminations just like this. I mean, we've seen a lot of fights go through Yun, Danjing, all of those, but nobody has those points like Ozrox. Neox Factory definitely where it's at, unless anything to say about it, because that's a very clean double nade there. Ooh, it's a 1v3! Can he make it a 1v4? No, he can't, because that's going to be a quick recall, but my goodness! XO coming in hot with the 3 against all those players that did 7 eliminations. That had 7 eliminations.
Yeah.
So they were on a roll. Really good stuff from XO.
Almost the rampage. Right, I like what the teams are doing here. That's going to be Big Baby also stepping up onto that 7 count, as you can see them now just capitalizing. They did say goodbye to Overlaid. Not quite sure if Overlaid still has that recall available, but it doesn't really matter too much, right? Big Baby looking pretty confident, and we've seen King, for the side of Big Baby, being able to survive exceptionally long in last week's game, so I'm curious as to whether or not King is going to look to repeat that this time around. Struce, also one of those strong performers here, having a bit of an opportunity, a bit of an angle to go for. And of course, yes, we are all the way down on that far southern side of the map, right? Dinlong Garden, we got Hongshan, also in the vicinity. Danqing is going to be receiving quite a bit of focus here, as well as Tuling is where we have that recall station. So many squads now starting to make their rotations as they push further and further on towards the southern position. But Motion is still one of those squads caught out all the way out towards the northern edges. And I mean, I like this pressure that we're looking at here, Nip. It's just sprays all over the place.
It is. I love that we're going down to the south side here often. I think Tinlong Garden is unfortunately placed because it is such a great position to have. It's such an interesting location. You've got so much different terrain, different areas for teams to be in, and we just don't get to see it that much because it is down way to the south side there. So I'm glad we're going in that direction for now at least. But you're right, there is a lot of pressure teams. You're going to be having a big concentration we're seeing on the north side as well as the center. So for a team like Motion, I want to be seeing them make that long wraparound rotation, maybe through DB, now over to the west. I think that would be really good for them. If they come down through the north, they're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah, they definitely could have quite a bit of a hard time. And speaking about the hard time here, we get a quick look at exactly where the teams are. Of course, Motion a little bit further up north, right? Close to Bamboo, actually. So they are really delaying that rotation. Curious to see how it all could potentially look to pan out here as teams are still pushing up more and more. A slight little bit of a shift back up towards the north, so it's not going to make that journey too difficult for the team still having to reposition. But yeah, Edge is going to be the place to go, as you can see a lot of teams situated over there in center also. They're really starting to heat up.
Yeah, now the new side of the zone that you don't want to be on is the south side, because everybody's going to be going in that direction, right? Because the center is now the southeast edge. So that's going to be very, very busy indeed as all these teams just try to make a run for it. Mad dash into the new circle. Because in this particular zone, actually, there's not a lot of places to go. We still have 15 teams, DK. And in this area where the zone has gone, it's very open. There's a lot of small high ground, small hilltops, exactly like what Team Germany has, that you can see a long, a long radius around. And so that's going to really pressure teams into fights that they really don't want.
Yeah, an interesting thing that I was sitting here thinking about is, like, I know where most of these other teams are from, but where is Team Germany from? That is a real hand scratcher. I don't really know. Of course, I'm kidding. Or am I? We don't know, but either which way. Here we go, as it is going to be Zhang now just popping up a few shots over the top of the roof. A very interesting angle that he's trying to take here. I mean, it does allow him quite a bit of visibility to either side, right? A good 360 view, especially now with the teams mobilized in the surrounding area. But is that going to be enough, right? Will we see Gentleman step up and do a little bit of something over there as Mur, all the way from the cam ranges, finds a beautiful spray in the direction there of Struss. But Struss, oh, just narrowly managing to escape the spray, but not for too long, as Go Away steps up and gets the lock secured.
I love that name. I really love that name. That just is so... It's so good when it comes up on that Elam feed, right? Where you're just like, and Go Away tells another person and another player to go away, and it's great. Love to see that. AMX in a little bit of trouble, though. Default now being recalled. That's probably going to be everybody's last life now. 7 eliminations on the board. As Smoking Vehicle out in the blue zone. Going to try and hedge out Team 721. We'll see if they're able to do that. This is the team. These are the two teams that go over in Yulin at the beginning of the game, so this is a little bit of a rematch here. I don't love this though, DK. I think we still got 650 meters to go. Stage 4 is about to pop in 30 seconds. It's a bit much. It's a bit much for me because that blue zone is going to start ticking away at your damage. I understand what they're trying to do here, just because the zone is so small that you are going to have to eliminate a lot of teams just to make some room for yourselves, but that's a little bit far.
Yeah, I mean, it is making things a little bit more challenging there for them. So hopefully they can get their butts back into that zone relatively quickly. But speaking about the zone, though, it is still quite heavily congested, right? We've got 15 teams all trying to find that next position to move into. At least make that 13, because we got 721 here alongside Amex. Havlik, yeah, suffering a little bit of difficulty here. Trying to heal up, but that blue zone is going to make things exceptionally difficult. And now it's going to be Koji coming in for the Kobe here as he pushes around the edge, looking for a quick cleanup, but instead gets cleaned up himself. The follow-through is there. 721 managing just narrowly to survive. But out comes the hard work, right? Aggressor needs to not only get his teammate up, but also find a way to get back into zone on time.
He does, but even if they fall out now, even if they aren't able to get to zone, 9 eliminations is a great score to, go out so early, as it were, right? So that's a fantastic score they've been able to put up. Amix just unable to do what they need to do. Down goes 1 to the play zone there from 721, so might just see the end of them there. We'll see. We'll see how that's going to be going. Meanwhile, Pump's team... Motion, hang on, we're going all over the place. The fights are happening all over the place here as Team Germany are going to be taken out potentially here by Motion. Now, Motion, we're all the way up on the north side, so they've made a really great rotation down to the south, to this position, trying to fight it out. But, oh, do you see the cavalry on the minimap? That is a very scary thing to see. Here we go. It's going to be it's through trying to take that position away from him.
It's exactly what it is, and the pressure is on, but can they survive? That is going to be the big question now. That is, of course, the players from In the Zone, right? Shortened to It's, because it's making sense. You can see the sprays just starting to double on up. That right-hand side looking pretty hot and spicy as many more squads are looking to contest. I mean, 721 though, the numbers really starting to dwindle here. As we take a look at the spread, it is going to be centering up yet again. This is where Team Germany, the players from the side of Pumps, as well as Big Baby, have a very strong setup here. But Cam also, right? I don't think you can really look away at the position that they've got there. A very interesting setup that they now look to play from. But it's still going to require quite a bit of focus and determination if they want to clean up at least that southern side of the zone.
I mean, even a position like this is such a great one. You've got 4 teams very, very close to each other. This is where those cover flares come in handy, because this is a great position that is very open, but you've got enough of a ledge that kind of protects you, and the overwatch you have on this entire area is really, really good. So, really love to see that coming through for them. I really like that position being utilized. It's one of my favorite spots on this map. It's just so controlling. Hopefully that's going to do good things for them in the long run, but we're looking over at Magma Team over onto the eastern side here, up against, who is this? TCE? Is that what I'm reading there? Yes, it is. TCE trying to move in out of Danching, trying to find a position. Looks like they're not going to contest this. I mean, they shouldn't contest this because Magma need to move as well. This position is not going to hold them forever, so for TCE to actually kind of jump ahead of them would be a really, really good, aware play from them, I think.
Yeah, you always got to try and bring a little bit of that awareness through here. And I mean, Magma, they definitely have a good setup. I like the fact that nobody is really looking to contest here, but they are not happy with it, right? They want a little bit of pressure. They want a little bit of excitement as they now look to push further up towards the north. They do find Shadow there. The shots are in. That is Shadow getting dropped down, but better. Also getting an immediate response coming in his direction. And this is where Team Magma now needs to be a little bit more cautious as to how they approach, or rather make the play from this particular position, as we got 20, Player 1, and Puma all now trying to just kind of ride on the edges. But there's still quite a bit of contention here. The utilities finding their way on through. I like this from Team Magma. A little bit of an off-angle approach.
Yeah, it is nice. I mean, if you're gonna find it, you gotta take the shots, right? Because that is definitely an edge position that you do not want to tolerate at all. It is gonna be difficult to move out of if you're not careful, right? If you allow them to stay there for any length of time, they are gonna turn against you eventually. So they're just trying to clear their way, clear their path into zone now. Even if they are gonna be a little bit late to the party, if they wait a little bit more. We shall see as the zone continues to center up on this high hill, high ground, mountain, something of the type. As we move forward to 721 aggressors. Aggressor did go down, so that player with those 6 elims is not going to be here to finish out the game, but it's okay. We got Koji and we got Werino as well. In a shack. Just big chillin', trying to going around the outside, and oh, isn't gonna happen. Down one goes. That's gonna be a third party there coming on through, and I think that might just spell the end of 721.
Well, not quite yet, right? 721, of course, already hitting the double-digit elims here, as we can see, now sitting on a very comfortable 10. But how much longer can they survive, as the health bar's definitely not looking too great at this point. Ozzyrox, though, still holding nice and through with their 3 players, 7 eliminations up. Big Baby also looking pretty confident here. Germany also looking quite strong. So I'm curious to see how this one is going to pan out for our remaining 11 teams, as they will have to continue to push. Of course, the zone is not going to look to make anything easy for them, as we see almost no compounds remain phase. Cam, though, to apply a little bit of that pressure as the shots start rolling in here. Kill for Win also stepping up to the plate, ensuring that they've got control over the western front, right? They don't want anybody else sitting in the vicinity here, but of course, that might be short-lived, as it won't be going for too much longer.
It's going to be interesting to see how these edge teams all decide to move on in, because it's going to be pretty much, I think, everybody's going to wait, and then everybody's going to go, which is going to be pretty chaotic coming through here, and it's going to put a lot of the pressure on those teams that are in the center, right? EA7 being one of those, Ozorox as well, is definitely going to be one of those that is going to feel that pressure and really going to have to make a stand against all these teams coming on through here.
Well, speak about stand, it is going to be exactly what Ozorox will try to do here as Leon needs to defend, but the shots just hitting the spot. Now it's up to PC, as PC is the last one left for that Ozorox squad. But I like what BRBA are doing here, as David and the rest of the team also not backing down with regards to the aggression. Dennis and everybody else now looking to continue with the momentum that they've been able to build up so far. 5 eliminations under their belt. Can they fight more? The entirety of the top 4 all getting swept away. And this is now that opportunity for Baby, Germany, Magmar, everybody else we can see on that right-hand side to try and overtake them. And of course, that is about to happen as we are 2 slots away from placement point territory. And this could now be that unlocking moment.
I'm surprised about the amount of action that we aren't seeing on the right side, right? How peaceful it is comparatively to the chaos over on the left. Sorry, left side versus the right side, right? The left side is the one that isn't having a whole lot of action coming on through here. Meanwhile, on the minimap, it's just very clearly a different story altogether. And gentlemen, oh, very carefully. Oh, he misses. That could have been a prime opportunity. Unfortunate. This isn't going to pan out in his favor, and down he will go, but just missing those placement points as well really is a shame. Oh no, there's still one left. There is still one left. There was a little bit of a split coming on through here. So, nope, never mind. The leaderboard hadn't updated yet. So I see it now. They're going to be in that 9th place position, but still a little far ahead of the rest of the... So we will see there as we are now. Oh, look at that zone shift coming on through. And that puts BRBA in so much control, DK, of the left side. Yeah, left side. Oh, for goodness sake. For goodness. You know what? Take it away. You do it.
Yep. That's why it's so much easier for us to just say, you know, East and West, right? That is, East and West is the best. And speaking about which, though, you're talking about the BRBA. Here they go, trying to solidify their position over on towards this western front. But there's still a little bit of contention here. As you can see, Cam starting to move up. We got the players there from Star also just knocking on the door. So everybody wants their entry. Everybody wants an opportunity. And only a few will be allowed to pass here. But you were talking about the east and the west sides, right? This western front, very quiet in comparison to what we have boiling over on that eastern front, as Big Baby now trying to lock it down. It is going to be Caliphate. Shadow. Tempting fate here. Got to watch out. Shooter there to provide a little bit of that backup. Not quite sure where Shadow is going to try and go with this vehicle. A very bold move as he just narrowly squeezes in. Manages to avoid the damage, at least for the time being. Now it's going to be Cam Army looking to advance their position. And they're getting close back into the fight. It would help strengthen the numbers here, putting them back on a 3-piece. But EXO, in the meantime, is going to try and lock it down up over on towards that more northeastern approach here. So I like the pressure, right? Caliphate also like the effort that they've been bringing in. 1 elimination is all they have to show for it, but I like the approach, right? Just looking to make things quite exciting and difficult. But now, Big Baby, this is their opportunity, right? They now need to try and find a way to solidify the north. There is a bit of a hill, which they have to be quite cautious of, but other than that, not a bad position to be in.
It's not bad at all, actually. I'm seeing now we've got 6 teams left alive, and now that chaos has kind of settled down, right, we are seeing a little bit more of a spread. A little bit more of that ground being available to teams. They've been able to get rid of those teams closest to them and give themselves a little bit of breathing room, and that's going to be really, really important for this next phase. Stage 6 is about to close up. We're going to be heading into Stage 7 in about 40 seconds time, and you can really see the teams trying to prepare for that next move, right? Because you do know if you're a team on that edge side, if you're anybody but basically Baby and maybe BRBA, you're going to have to move in this next phase. So you are looking... Oh, what an excellent nade! Close, gets a little bit too close with that nade coming through. And Kenshin able to just go ahead and eliminate that one. Say, nope, no move for you. We will be seeing you go by 2 HP here for Kenshin in return there. And he's just going to do a little bit of a regroup here. Very nicely played. I really like that. But the zone has moved in, DK. It is going to center down a little bit more to the south, but still centering up here. So here we go. The big move coming through. Everybody's going to just go for it.
Yep. Cam Rangers not going to be holding back, looking to full send it. I like the sprays going all across.
Ooh.
And, oh, a very tough position to try and pull into, but that is kind of the risk of this phase, right? You're going to try and have to risk it if you want that biscuit, but at the same time, the western front still being very vacant, so all this pressure over on towards the just looking so sweaty.
The car drove into the Molotov and ruined the entire thing. Oh, dear me. EA7 next to fall, just down to a solo here. And that is going to be a little bit problematic. Big Baby now taking advantage of everything here. King and XO, 5 eliminations each, up to 12 in total. This is looking like a really, really good game for them. Just down to the top 5 now. And this is where now we're starting to see Big Baby, some of these teams really spread out, really make sure that they are in control of this next zone.
Yeah, and this is where BRB is going to try and be exactly that team, right? Looking to assert their dominance. They already have 11 gene eliminations on the board, aka also known as just 11, right? But either which way, they are looking to make quite a bit of a statement, and they have all that possession coming through from the western side. There's still a little bit of contention here between the Cam Rangers and Big Baby. But King trying to push up, spots out a little bit of movement. Gets it, the shot is in. Exo is down, Big Baby is out, and Cam Rangers now looking to contest here for that winner chicken dinner. The final 2 squads are looking to settle their disputes for eliminations versus the bucket load of points that we've already been seeing over on the side here of BRBA. But will they be back a little bit later? We don't know. This is, though, the opportunity for a full-on send. As, Valley? Sure. And the rest of his team looking for just a little bit of an angle, right? That's all they need. They just need that opening spot, and that could really help them secure this winner chicken dinner. Phase 8 just hit. But it doesn't matter all too much as BRBA have full possession of the zone.
They really do, and Cam do have that high ground, right? They have that positional, advantage, I guess? But the control that the other team has here, BRBA able to just make a complete and total control area. Nice. I really like this from Mare, though. Trying to wrap around, trying to get a little bit of a funny angle on him, but I'm not sure that was a great idea. Makes those shots heard, makes his position known, and that's where the nades are going to start coming on through. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of a misplay here from Mare, I feel. He is going to try and retaliate with those nades, but it just puts BRBA on such high alert that that positioning might just not work out now.
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing, but it is going to be all down to Mur whether or not he can actually make that work. Close is getting closer, and Fanta just needs to stick here, and then he'll be fantastic. And it's now just a bit of a waiting game. But I like what the Cam Rangers are doing here, trying to regain that control, right? I mean, yes, BRBA does have quite a lot of that, but they're not controlling every position just yet. In the next 30 seconds, that phase 9 is going to hit, and we know what happens from that point, right? There's only one way this can finish, and now look at this, Close looking to step on forward. Finds a bit of an opening, looking to push the angles. Now trying to lock it in, does succeed in doing exactly that. 2 players already getting swept away. This could still be a big opportunity for the Cam Rangers to close it out. It's now going to be up to Kenshi and Dennis to see if they can hold it to get the board. Now, out. It is a 2v2 final showdown. 12 eliminations, though, coming through here for BRBA. Can they get that alongside the winner with a chicken dinner?
What just happened? How were RG able to actually turn these tables just ever so slightly? It looks like the zone has pushed them out of that high ground, and BRBA now have that advantage as well as, but what was looking like a very secure game for BRBA is now evened up, as you said, and evened up now a little bit too much. BRBA back in control with that nade coming through here, close, now down. Phantom last man standing, and they know exactly where he is. They're gonna have to close up on him so quickly here. Nade is getting cooked on the side of Fanta. He is still full health, but they know exactly where he is, DK. They know exactly what to do here. He does have those nades just warning him, oi, stay away, don't come too close. Gonna try and get my teammate here, potentially. 1v2, in a 1v2 situation, yeah, going for that teammate's probably the best idea, but stage 9 is about to come on in. Here we go, and surely you see this. No, you don't. They are gonna get that full res. No way. BRBA, no way you allow this to happen.
Yeah, a little bit of a moment right there, but it is still going to rely quite heavily on what the Cam Rangers will be looking to bring forward here as Fantan close now has a second opportunity. The zone not being kind to anybody, right? We are in phase 9. It means that there is nowhere else to go. There's no more. And this is going to be up to the Cam Rangers to see if they can clutch this one out. Can they take the winner with a chicken dinner from the hands of BRBA? Fanta, phenomenal sprays here with the Org through the smoke. Sounds like it's on the money, and that is exactly what happens. The Cam Rangers run away with the winner chicken dinner. Did they get a bucket load of eliminations? No, but they got the victory, and that is going to really help them with regards to those points.
I mean, that went back and forth so many times. What a riveting last phase of that game. I mean, that could have been anybody's, I think. But yeah, that was a really, really good Cam coming in here. Some really nice control, really good back and forth there. BRBA, I feel like, really missed the opportunity to push in when they were trying to get that res. They got scared a little bit by those nades. But you know what? Lesson learned. They got a high amount of eliminations. They were in control for a large point of that part of that game. So for me, yeah, it's looking really good, and we'll see what they can do on Erangel.
Yeah, we definitely will. Let's take a look and see what the point situation is and where the teams are after a very exciting start to the day. Of course, we're going to be hopping in momentarily. But yeah, a lot of pressure, a lot of excitement, and I'm not quite sure exactly what was going to be happening there for BRBA. You know, as you've said, right? They were in such a controlling position, and somehow the Cam army just managed to kind of work their way through, or rather the Cam Rangers, right? They kind of just played at range, applying the pressure, coming through with the utilities and the angles to make sure they can get that chicken bagged up and shipped away. But yeah, a lot of excitement. Now it is time for us to take a look and see what the leaderboard looks like. What is the score situation, and where do the teams find themselves? Of course, sitting right at the top of the board is going to be none other than BRBA and Baby. Both squads just running away with those eliminations. As you can see, 13 and 12 eliminations respectively. But of course, the Cam Rangers there with their winner chicken dinner all the way in third place, followed very closely by the 721 aggressors.
That's really interesting, because 721, they went out pretty early, right? They did get a lot of eliminations, but we saw them go out in, I think, phase 6 or 7. So a long time ago in the scope of things. So really nice to see that those points they accumulated early on were able to really make sure that they had some skin in the game even after game 1. Ozorox and Amix and the two other teams I thought would have a similar story to 721, you know, especially Ozorox after getting all of those eliminations in Neox. But unfortunately just unable to capitalize on that momentum, and they just go out a little too early to really have that same success story as the 721 aggressors.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is going to see how the teams will look to kind of translate this into Erangel once we get over to that, because already starting off the match here, they've had quite a few eliminations already secured, right? I'm talking about the teams that went out early, like Team Germany, like Ozorox, like Bump, right? All of them were able to bag quite a few of those elims, even Motion doing exactly that. But now the big question is, can they carry that over into match number next? Of course, only one way for us to find out. We are going to hop into a quick break to get everything ready. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a short few.
Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week.
What's up? Welcome back. We're getting ready. The statement has been made by BRBA. And of course, Big Baby, both teams securing themselves 18 points in the last match. But now the big question is, can they carry that forward? Can they continue with the momentum? Or is this the opportunity for the teams a little bit further down to now try and capitalize and build up their own pacing? Because, I mean, we've seen players from Rosecar, One for All, even in the having a bit of a try, having a bit of a swing, but not necessarily being able to secure themselves enough points. And so, this is where I'm curious as to what Erangel is going to be bringing in here.
I almost want to say, is Erangel going to be bringing in any hot drops? I mean, I feel like that would be pretty insane. And it's a part of me hopes we don't see that because that's not how you play this game. But I think coming off the back of the Rondo where everybody was pretty aggressive, and then you only have 5 matches a day, not 6. One of those Erangels is cut out. I almost feel like there might be some, let's put it this way, some aggression in the first few phases of the game, and I feel like that probably wouldn't be a bad thing, hot drop or not. I think just being able to maybe loot up really quickly and then, try and get some of those eliminations on the fusion, for instance, would be really valuable to a lot of these players, especially those teams that are, didn't have such a great game as they thought they might do. Amix and Ozrox really able to bring in that aggression very early on, but just not able to follow through and get to that second half of the game. So for them in particular, I think that could be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we might be having a few reparations at hand here as the teams will definitely try and fix what needs a little bit of fixing going forward here. To see still what teams like Amix are going to be doing, what Ozrox will be bringing in, right? A few of the squads that we are yet to see them really showcase all those capabilities, and who knows, right? Erangel might be exactly that. So excited to see where the teams are going to go and what is going to be happening. With regards to hot drops, I don't know if we're going to be having any hot drops. Yes, maybe on Murmur we could have 1 or 2, but I don't know if I'm fully convinced over on Erangel, right? I think the teams could potentially be respecting a space a little bit more. I could be wrong, right? Maybe they all choose to go into Pachinki and just go, and here we are.
I mean, that would be fun, right? We don't get that very often where everybody just goes into one spot. That would be great fun at this level. I think that would be interesting. Get your popcorn ready, do all that sort of thing. But for me, I am going to be looking at maybe some of that aggression early. You gotta keep it classy, keep it controlled. You still have other games to play. You got all those points to get on your own. So whatever you need to do it quickly, but do it safely. Do it, smartly. I think is the real word here. If you're gonna be aggressive early on, you gotta play it smart.
Well, of course, only one way for us to see what these teams are going to be bringing in. Let's hop in onto Erangel to see exactly what the teams are going to be working with. And of course, firstly, where's the plane path we're going to be going? It is going to be starting us over on towards that southwestern side, just over on the edge of Quarry, and of course, heading all the way up towards Stolber. So this is where we now can see, are the teams going to be bringing in the same kind of idea, same kind of approach as they did bring over into Rondo? Or are they going to be maybe going for a little bit of a different something this time around? A few squads already starting to make their way down south. You can see Motion and a few others already accompanying them over in that direction. Ooh. But of course, that means that we could look at South George and potentially the container yard coming into play, maybe even Everest. But that is going to be quite reliant on what the zone's going to be doing.
I'm surprised. I mean, Primorsk is not exactly where I would first choice for a hot drop. That's not exactly where I would go. EA7, just Quarry, they're not going to have any of that. But yes, we do already have a hot drop there. You're right, we are going to be seeing some clashes happen between South George and that crate area as well. That's going to be happening at some point, guaranteed. They're way too close to really just avoid each other after looting up. I feel like they're going to be wanting that fight early on. Another cluster of teams that we see coming down to the south side. There's like 3-4 teams going to Pachinki or the south side of Pachinki there, but the zone is really going to negate pretty much all of that because it has gone straight to the island. So a lot of these teams, even if they do have that hot drop situation, if they're a little bit too close to another team for comfort, now their best interest is really just to move away from that situation and get in zone.
And I think this is an interesting shift in the dynamic here, right? Because if you look at a map like Rondo, it gives teams the opportunity to be a little bit crazy, to be a little bit kooky, to do things that they won't necessarily be doing. But stepping over onto Erangel, this is the map that the teams know exceptionally well. Of course, it is the map that has been around the longest, so this is where we get a much clearer look at what the approach is going to be. And so far for the Rangers, they chose aggression, but unfortunately the shot's not really lining up the way they wanted it to.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. I mean, some of them, they hadn't even landed yet, and their teammates are already getting taken out there. Very, very badly, or just unfortunately timed there. Is Team Germany just going to land and just descend upon this fight going down already? 721 now in a whole lot of trouble, trying to do his best here, but it's a 1v everybody. There's nothing he can do about that, and down he goes as well. Spidey. Those Spidey senses have to just go off in the lobby now. Team Germany, 3 eliminations, able to just take it all away from him, and there's no recalls here. None whatsoever, DK. That means that for a lot of these teams, T721, they're down to 2 already. I mean, in the first 3 minutes of the game is wild.
Yep,
oh, down to 1!
Yes, you gotta watch it out. You gotta watch out. I mean, who would have thought that the garage on the edge of the Pachinki Hills is going to be a place where we will have an insane, crazy hot drops with 4 teams sending down upon each other. I would never have been able to guess that, but very exciting start to the proceedings here as Erangel is proving to be one to watch. Now, the 721s are going to be left with 1 player, right? They had 10 eliminations previous game. And this time they are missing a digit. They still have 1. But not quite sure how far this is going to allow them to continue in this game. The rest of the teams are going to continue to kind of dissolve their positions and move further on towards this more southern zone shift that we saw coming in. The players there from the Cam Rangers, of course, now confirmed down to a solo, I believe, pretty soon as well. A lot of pressure as the teams now start to move up. Germany, one of those squads leading the charge as they are looking to come over on that far bridge side. Western Bridge looking pretty decent. Very easy access onto the Sosnovka military island.
Very easy, and I actually really love how insistent they're being on these really quick rotations, right? Because just moments ago, they were over by Pachinki, over by that garage area, and now they're just suddenly all hop back into their 1 car, which is very unadvisable, but they know that they're able to do it because they're one of the first teams onto the island. There's no real contention there, but just really, really quick rotation. That will do them so well in the long run because number 1, they're ahead of all of these sorts of fights that are happening, and number 2, they're able to just really step up, set up, and be ready for when these teams come straggling in.
Yeah, of course you can see a few teams not necessarily committing to that far southern push just yet, but Ozrock's definitely committing to the aggression, as they know that this is their opportunity to bounce back and come back with quite a bit of a vengeance. Already now, the Caliphate Esports squad having a little bit of difficulty as we can see them now falling victim to 1 or 2 hits. They did lose one of their players. Ozrock's also trying to keep their numbers pretty strong, not looking to expose their position unnecessarily. And of course, that quick rush up into the edges of Gatka, boding quite well here for them. Speaking about boating, it doesn't bode well here for Matic, as he'll have to swim with the fishes as he gets taken on out of here. Big Baby looking to claim Primorsk, but it's going to be short-lived, right? They need to rotate either up towards the northern main island or over onto that Sosnovka military base. The loot truck, up it comes. A good position here for Ozaraks. Let's see whether or not they can get their hands on some juicy upgrades.
I mean, what a great position for them. They are big chilling over here, all by themselves. No one's gonna be trying to do anything near them. No one's near them at all, actually. So they're able to loot this up in peace. They got some great upgrades, as you said. And hopefully somebody takes a sniper. Come on, guys. You can do it. You know you wanna. We'll see. But yeah, that's gonna give them some really, really great advantages against some of these other teams, especially if a lot of the other teams decide to rotate very early or clash with a lot of teams early on, right, to try and get across those bridges. It is going to mean that a lot of those teams either aren't fully looted up As we can see here, Christy, right, has a level 1 helmet. A level 1 helmet and 1 smoke. That's it. So clearly not really able to loot up before they had to get out of there and get moving on the way to zone. So for Ozorox, this could be big for them, as AMX might just try and throw a wrench in the works. Do they know they're there? That is the real question here. Oh, it kind of looks like they don't.
Well, Spike coming through with a little bit of contention here. I like this, and Ozorox at least having quite a bit of awareness coming through as they are on the defensive line. Havlik getting spotted and picked up. So that is 1 down. But what is going to happen is now Ozorox's opportunity to full on send. Oh, definitely is. But can they get it secured? As they want to make sure that all that loot is theirs. Of course, that is one of those trucks that I am not allowed to touch, because apparently loot goblins and loot trucks don't work out all too well. Spike, though, trying to push on forward here with the DBS, but instead gets dropped down with the DBS as Millers quickly pokes out the window. Spike also getting confirmed. Havlik bleeding out slowly, and this is no fault. Trying to put a lot of distance between himself and the remainder of his team, right? As Havlik is not going to get picked up. But Default now has to rotate very wide to get himself in. Not quite sure where he's going. Maybe he wants to go sit up on Everest and just take a look at the map.
Hey, it's entirely possible, but I don't like that fight at all for Amix. They all pushed 1 by 1. There was no real clear attack point. They kind of just decided, okay, 1's knocked, your turn. 1's knocked, your turn. So that's really just gone, hey, you've got all the loot. Have some, just get that momentum going. We're rooting for you. But it actually, Default has actually gone to hospital. You're right there. So interesting to see what he's going to be doing. Probably just going to loot up in peace there. The zone, thankfully for him, actually does also move to the mainland. So it's not an insanely far, well, I mean, 2,400 meters is insanely far, but it's not across the water necessarily. He can still be in zone and not have to cross that river. So we'll see how that's going to be going for them. I would want to be interested to see Team Germany, though. They are really holed up on military base, rather. A really strong position, still in zone, still potentially has that end game positioning, but now with that zone going a little bit to the north, it does give me a little bit of pause.
Yeah, I mean, C block is going to get contested. As you can see, there are teams looking to move the engine, or at least past there, as they head towards that more centralized setup. But yeah, for Default, it is going to be slim pickings up in hospital. Not the craziest place to be looting in, especially this far out into that zone. Speaking about the zone, it's going to be in the zone, looking to get out of the zone, the blue zone that is, as they now push forward, coming past well, a little bit of Walmart. They got shelter here as well, so still a good decent bit of traveling that they need to do to find any security. Of course, those ghost compounds just up ahead, so there are a few options, but the zone is not going to make it easy, right? I do think that we could be looking at a little bit more of a military island phase as we hit stage number 3.
I agree. I mean, when the zone centers up like this, I mean, it's majority that island side. It's probably going to be that for the rest of the game in reality. I mean, it is possible, heaven forbid, that we do get a water finish, right? It could center up again slightly to that north side, and then we're all in the drink. But let's see now where that is going to be coming through here, as BRB8 going to try and hold off firmly in zone, by the way. That's not enough of an edge to really put a lot of pressure on BRB8 right now, and RS going to try and take their chances here. Phantom goes on down. Now it's up to Bad Boy. Might go down as well as he makes a hasty exit there. And that is just going to be the one taken out. The rest of the team immediately, like, that is the fastest regroup from Bridge I've ever seen, DK. Like, they lost one and went immediately, nope, out of here, we're gone.
Yeah, but see, there's quite a few things to take into consideration here, as we do have the players from in the zone also pushing up from that northern side, so there's quite a bit of tension building over on towards Bridge, so not the best spot for Rosecard to find themselves right now. Meanwhile, the rest of the team still trickling forward, as we've got 1 or 2 squads also still holding out on that far edge. But now comes the big decisive play, especially with the teams already situated on the island, right? The zone being pretty confirmed over here. You do have a bit of that water currently in play. But who is going to look to push through? Ozarks, of course, that team in the lovely bright yellow there. One of the squads yet to move on up. And the farmlands, it would be a good spot if they were in zone. But that's unfortunately not going to be the case here. But BRBA, though, they're not going to be leaving this bridge anytime soon, right? They're just enjoying a few of their spoils, making sure they've got the vehicles unstuck, and then just kind of moving it to the opposite end to see who else would dare venture across.
I'm looking at, hang on, Ozarks. I thought we were just talking about them, and we saw in that Elam feed just now that they did get at least one taken down. At least one is knocked on their side, so that is definitely a fight happening over to the south side of Pachinki. Looks like they have lost a player, unfortunately, so all that loot is not necessarily going to be saving them just yet. Kill for win now. Yeah, now it's kill for win onto the north side on these cliff sides up against Ozarok. So it's a 2v1. Can he survive that nade? Ooh, almost down he goes, though. Can't do it both. Really nice pickup, though, from his teammate. Fantastic teamwork coming in here just in the nick of time. But kill for win. I mean, they're still up. They were a full squad, so they are still up 2. And this is by far not over. It is not over yet. It is not giving the advantage to Ozarks at all here. It's very much neck and neck.
It is very much so, but also the pressure is going to start to build now as the blue will start nipping away at their health bars as well. You do see PC getting picked up. Out it goes. Now it's up to Leon and Biscay to see can they kind of keep torch alight here as Kill for Win are going to be using this opportunity to disengage. No, come on, Coney. Keep running, keep pacing. The blue is going to absolutely devalue. And they still have such a long way to go. The sprays, though, almost connecting up there with Leon. But so far, so good, at least on the side of Leon. But I'm not quite sure how the players here from Kill for Win or even Ozarks are going to be able to get themselves into that next phase, right? Because this blue is really going to start to hurt now.
Yeah, it is. We're moving into stage 4 now. So we are going to be seeing that health really start to tick away. As you said, some of these teams are going to be okay. They're going to be fine because they're in circle. But for some of those teams outside of it, it's going to start to take away a lot of health here. And oh my goodness, did I jinx this game, DK? Did I put this into, this into existence? Because we have a water zone, 50% water. This is where the game is going to end very quickly. Simply because we have so many teams left. 14 teams? 15 teams left alive here? All of them have to get into this position that is 50% water. There's not a lot of land for everybody. And a lot of these teams are going to be having a very quick journey to the lobby, I think.
Yeah, for those of you watching who don't know, if Nep says something about the game, if she speaks about a team, something happens, right? She spoke about a zone, the water zone, and, well, look at that. There is a water zone in play, but now it's going to be Pump's team to see whether or not they can hold off the push, the advance coming through. Vert, unfortunately, not going to be able to survive the aggression there. Be the end of the road. Not just yet, right? Pumps still have a few contenders left, but Pump's now getting hit. As the shots just get laid on thick, and I like the setup coming through for the side of, I believe it's Team Germany, right? On the edge of that zone. A good little angle to play from, as they can hear the cacophony of shots all around them. One for all. Looking for a bit of a cheeky steal here, coming into that third party. Close hiding up on the top side. Ooh, Bumps. Almost getting spotted out on the side, but I love this aggression. One for all, just full sending it now. Coming in with that 3-1 split, holding a bit of an off angle. Can they close it up? Can they secure themselves the compound? Here we have it. As there is going to be a slight bit of a push now coming through. Winnie. Just on the edge. Oh, a cheeky hit. Max would be proud, but unfortunately, it is very short-lived. This close came so close to getting the wipe, but not close enough.
It indeed a valiant effort, but unfortunately not able to really follow through on that. I am shocked, though, DK. Default from Amix is still here.
Yep.
He's still in the game. Somehow, he survived all of that blue zone. And he is in the water now. He's over by those cliffs on the very northern side. So, out of the game conversation in that way, right? But he's still here. He's still kicking, and he's just really looking for those placements. What else can you do at this point? Gonna be trying to get maybe a couple of placement points if he can, just to make something of this game. As the zone is gonna continue to move on in. We've got 30 seconds before we see that new zone, and BRBA unable to make it into the placement points this time around. We saw them take that second place last game. But they are gonna be falling short of the mark now. Big Baby, though, also going down 6 eliminations. A really good show from them, but again, missing out on those placement points.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, Big Baby, they've been trying. They were able to secure themselves a very decent serving of eliminations. You can see them now sitting quite comfortably on 24 points as they have now reestablished themselves ever so slightly. But Magma also still to do a little bit of something here as they are coming through on this eastern side, looking out into the drink to see if they can spot anybody. He did spot Default out there in the open as well. But now it's going to be a very difficult situation for a lot of our players here to try and survive on through many duos and trios strewn all across this battlefield. But only one team can walk away with that winner chicken dinner. The pressure is going to be on as One For All, Queen, looks to the north. Nobody in that compound. Very good setup here for One For All, right? They've got full control of this western side. But 721 also just hanging in the wing, just on the very edge of that blue. Is going to maybe look to ride that storm forward. Caliphate now also stepping up. Having a good day fishing here.
They are, but you know who else is Team Germany. 6 eliminations right now. And they are on the southern edge of zone. Not quite in zone just yet, but no one is looking at them. Everybody's focused on that northern side, right? Making sure that that beach is secure. But now the backstab is coming in. We're starting to see Magma going on down to Team Germany. And a lot of those teams are going to have to really make sure that they're looking everywhere they can, because these teams on the south side are really looking to secure this win.
Yep, that is what they want to do. It's good beats here. As One For All now looks to clean it up. Not quite sure whether or not Kill For Win is going to be able to get anything done at this point, as things are looking pretty slim, at least out in the drink, right? But I think this is where One For All shouldn't get too distracted with the players solely over on the water edge, right? They need to keep a very close eye more towards the inward side of that zone, as we still have Cam situated there. We've got the Caliphate esports squad also looking quite comfortable as they've now moved up into the center. Germany also still in the mix. So, yeah, the pressure not stopping anytime soon.
It is not indeed. We'll be seeing who's going to be the next to fall. Somebody's going to have to go very soon. I mean, 8 teams left alive. Granted, they're not all full squads, right? Actually, Team Germany is the only full squad we still have in this game. But still, there's a decent amount of players. 20 players in this teeny tiny little zone is pretty crazy. So we are going to be seeing some teams start to go. Default does eventually hit the deck, go back to lobby, but he does gain 1 placement point, right? So for Amix, that is a game well played here. 1 elimination, one placement point as well. That's a fairly okay game coming through from them. Team Germany now moving forward. Will have a knocked player, but they're going to try and rescue him as they can. And this is where that spread starts coming on through here.
Yeah, this is where I think essentially you want to try and, if you've got a wide spread, try and condense it up a little bit more. No teams really seem to have too much of that spread going. But Magma, player 1 here, definitely in quite a bit of a predicament. You can see Team Germany starting to advance. Zone, of course, having shifted a lot more over on towards that western side, is going to make that rotation very, very difficult for player 1. Same could be said there for Roscar, right? Roscar also down to a solo. There's going to be Chrissy trying to survive on that edge position. And again, no clear pathing to get them into this next phase. But Germany, a very assertive position that they've got, being able to essentially double their points so far. Could this be their go at that winner chicken dinner? Of course, only time will tell. But this is now where the Caliphate Esports squad has the opportunity to kind of cement themselves on the standings, right? Already 4 eliminations up. Placement points now at play here as well. And, ooh, there we go. Player 1 getting wrapped up and shipped out. Germany up to 8. But this could be that snowball effect now coming into swing.
Especially when you look at teams who might be intimidated by Team Germany, right? With all those eliminations, they've got a decent spread going. They're starting to control, and that's going to intimidate teams to just move away from them and move into each other. So that really could help Team Germany really solidify this win simply because of their presence, right? They might not have to lift another finger in order to get this win, but we will see. They're on the outside of the zone right now, as now we're down to our top few teams, top 5 coming through here, and everybody's on the land except for 1 player out in the water. So this is where now we can have maybe a little bit of a slower time, right? There's a little bit more space for everybody. Nobody is particularly calm or collected or even relaxed. Everybody is on edge there. Everybody is tense. They're just making sure they're on high alert, making sure that they're able to see those plays coming from a mile away. But for now, at least until this zone moves in, we are going to chill.
Yeah, I mean, there's one team that I think is probably the closest to comfortable here, and that would most likely be the side of Team Germany, right? They've got the numbers up. They've got a somewhat decent position, not the best, but if they can get that play going into the Caliphate Esports squad, that could definitely help alleviate a lot of it. Is going to be Gentleman very gently getting shipped out back to the lobby. Will we see Zhang maybe look to contest here? Just a lot of that buggy trolley coming through, trying to draw out the shots from the side of Caliphate, but it doesn't seem like Caliphate is going to be too phased, right? They have a close eye on the side here of Germany, at the same time also turning their focus a little bit more into towards the zones. So side is definitely the most contested position to try and play through, as we've got quite a few hills, but only one team can look and lock, like which a lot of mobility, a lot of awareness coming here, but things now getting a little bit quiet, right? Well, in some regards, as the action on Stage 7 about is even more over on the side, and Caliphate and Germany now really needs to advance. They need to find out to get themselves into this next zone if they want to stay relevant here.
That knock was onto Team Germany was so detrimental for them. They were looking like they had so much power. They were in such a powerful position. And that knock is really, that flush rather, is really just put a spanner in the works. It's really switched up the, really switched up their tactic, their play style here. They were looking very mobile, and now they're really just waiting for those teams to do something. And unfortunately for them, the teams doing something is against them. And that actually means that maybe they're going to say, I need them to really move to the south side immediately here. Make that rotation come through. You do not need to be taking this fight anytime soon. Expect high ground advantage coming through here. Other teams now looking in this direction. We've seen them make those Hail Mary plays, you know, that just straight up, just full sends coming through. We need to see that again from this team now, because if they continue on this fight, they are going to go out.
Yep, definitely agree with you on that. So let's see, can they find that farthing? Oh, no, instead they bump into the wall. It's going to be Zhang coming through with a quick play, but look at the aggression there from new player as he just drops him down instantly. So Cam Army EU really comfortable here in the hot and sweatiness, as One for All also going to look to capitalize. They still got 3 players, them and the players there from the Caliphate squad is going to be the 2 strongest teams here currently with the highest numbers in this match. But is that going to count for anything? Of course, we'll find out pretty soon. Season McQueen, as well as Frizz now, just trying to lock down Can coming through on this western front. The stage is about to be set as phase number 8 is going to come in hot in just a few moments. This is where players from the Caliphate Esports squad needs to be quite cautious as Shadow on down. Cam also holding up in that center point is going to feel a lot of that pressure coming in from either side. So it's essentially just riding on what one for all, and the Caliphate team can bring in, as we do say, and this is the blue now getting the better of them.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed. They just waited that little bit too long, and can you blame them? Because that next foot forward is going to be really, really out and treacherous to really use up here, especially with one for all, able to look so clearly ahead of them straight on to that eastern side. Meanwhile, just a little team in the middle there, just in the compound, not really having to do much of anything. McQueen, not fast as lightning in this situation. Down he goes. A quick little spray coming in from Caliphate there. That means that they're going to move on forward. Love the instant rotation coming through here. Is it going to work? Maybe not. Down one goes. Shallow going to hit the deck. And one for all now going to be back in control at least a little bit, but they are outside of zone. Caliphate now, shooter, does have a position now, a really good position actually behind that monster truck. Great positioning in terms of the terrain. He's got a little bit of that ridge coming through here. Even if he loses the monster truck, that's going to be some really good cover coming through here. And I love, though, in the middle of all this, TCE are just like, okay, it was Cam Army, rather. They're just going to be like, okay, well, we're just going to be super chill in this building, throw a couple of nades just to make sure you don't come this way. But apart from that, just do what you want.
Yeah, but now it's going to be absolute chaos descending upon the battlefield as one for all looks to push on up. They're up to 11 eliminations now. Quick fallback here from Caesar. Cam Army also starting to wake up, getting into the kitchen as things start to cook. It's Dizzy, a new player, clearing it up. Now, quick sweep coming through there as the players from the Caliphate already getting swiftly dealt with. Now, the final two squads going to contest for that winner chicken dinner. One for all. It seems like they've got a decent position here, but what is going to make things quite difficult is the position that Cam Army is in, right? They have the compound, and it already is quite well set up within that zone, but it is not going to last very, very long here for them as Stage 9 is upon us. And it is going to continue to move that blue further and further afield. Cheeky Nate heading over in the direction there of McQueen. This is where Frizz and Caesar has the opportunity to try and turn this around. New player and Dizzy, though. They just need to try and survive if they want to get a taste of that and want a chicken dinner.
The amount of smokes being used here, though, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Especially when you're trying to get up onto that roof. But yeah, that's a crazy amount of util coming through here from Cam Army EU. And we're going to be seeing them moving forward now. Trying to find any bit of cover or a bit of angle that they can get. Does find one, but isn't able to get those shots off. Misses entirely. And now that position has been found out. Some nades coming over the top there, and that's going to be it. Not able to do anything. One for coming in clutch here. And that is going to be a big, big win coming in from them.
Yeah, that was a full-on send coming through as All For One stepped up and just bombarded their way into a winner chicken dinner. But you got to give it up to Cam Army, right? A really good strategic position that they went for. The compounds working out quite well, actually coming in quite clutch here for them. So, yeah, I think they're going to be quite happy about that approach. Caliphate Esports, I also like what they were doing, right? Really looking to make things quite challenging, a little bit risky. But the big question is, of course, did that result in any major changes coming through with regards to those standings? So let's take a look and see where the teams find themselves.
Ooh. It's one for all. They've moved up with that win. They've moved into that first place position. Still tied with Big Baby, though. So Big Baby able to just continue to keep up with the rest of these squads here. And BRBA dropping down to that third place. Team Germany as well, moving up as well, right? You got that 19 points total. Really unfortunate for Team Germany. I really hoped that they would be able to do something big in that game, but just a little bit too long of a wait there. On the edge of zone, I think really just made matters impossible for them. But they're still going to have a really decent game coming through here. But yeah, one for all, jumping up into that first place from, where were they? One for all, let me look real quick from the last ones. One for all were in 16th place. They were in last place. So they've jumped from last to first place because they had 1 point on the rondo. And now they come in with that 24-point total. So very, very nice game for them.
Yeah, very, very good game indeed, and I like where things are going. Of course, there's still quite a bit of contention across the board, right? I mean, as we saw from the scores there, we've got double digits all the way from first place down to, I believe that is 12th, right? So Amex also sitting with decent points on the board. But the big question is going to be now, can the teams try and fix that up as we get into our last Erangale of the day here? Of course, only one way for us to find out what is going to be happening. We are going to head into a quick break, enjoy a few replays, and we'll be back with game number 3.
It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel.
Abi şimdi de
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel.
Abi şimdi de
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel.
Abi şimdi de
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
And we're back, one for all, bouncing back all the way from the bottom of the board to the tippity top, contesting Big Baby for that pole position. But of course, as we know, right, the top 6 slots, that is where the money's at. And so I'm curious to see what is going to be happening as we hop into our final Erangel here on day number 1. But after that, we are going to be heading into those lovely dusty dunes. So, Nep, do you think we are going to see maybe a little bit of that Ozrock's resurgence, maybe a little bit of motion coming back into the swing of things? Or is this the opportunity now for One For All and Big Baby to really run away with the performance here?
For me, it could go either way, DK. I mean, for me, Ozorox, when I think Ozorox, I think Miramar. So maybe they won't do anything in this next game, but maybe that Miramar is going to really come in clutch for them. We'll have to see. In the meantime, absolutely these other teams need to do all they can to make sure that they're running away with it. Any of these teams need to do that when you only have 10 games in the finals, right? It's only 2 days. It's only 5 games a day. It does mean that you want to get as many points as possible and keep as long as possible, as large as possible, to make sure you don't get it stolen away from you in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, you still have a bit of control. You can still decide whether or not that can be stolen away from you or not just yet. But I like the fact, looking at what we have across the board here with the squads, that it is still essentially really close, right? I mean, you could go all the way down to in the zone, right? The team all the way with sitting with 3 points to their name, they could quite comfortably bounce back and hop all the way, maybe all the way into first position. So it's all going to come down to what the kind of pacing is and what they look to accomplish coming into our 3rd match of the day. But yeah, we are going to get ready for that very, very soon, as we'll be moving along to see exactly where the flight path is going to be going this time around and whether or not the south is going to be at play, right? And I think we can't have you talk about what the zone is going to be doing. Unless, of course, there's something interesting that we could potentially be having brewing with where the location could be spreading. But I think I'd just be happy with it essentially going anywhere across the map, right? As long as the teams have the opportunity to show their tactics, to show their rotation, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, same here, same here. We always love an interesting zone just to really test these teams and see what they can come up with. But you know what? A good old bread and butter, normal Erangel game is fine too. Maybe a little bit of that field action, maybe over by school or something like that would be a little bit of fun. But we want these teams to be able to showcase their skill as much as possible. That strategy has to come through for them. And sometimes on those crazy zones, you just don't get the opportunity to do that. So this next Erangel, yeah, I'm definitely looking for a very normal game.
Well, speaking about normal, let's hop into what is the only normal part of this game. That's the plane, as we are going to be heading out onto the battlefield to see where the teams are going to get themselves situated and, of course, what everything is going to look like from that point moving forward. A very, very good flight path, though, right? Cutting this map right through the middle, starting all the way up here on that northeastern side, just south of Gomeshki, heading across to Primorsk. The squads will be very happy with the access that they have been granted here. But now it's going to be the big kicker to see what the spread will be. It does seem like Amex already starting us off with a push over towards Lipovka, but yeah, they don't have any accompanying squads going in that direction, so we won't have a hard drop, at least not there.
Yeah, I don't blame Amix for trying to do this very differently to the last game, right? Amix struggling in that last game, just had that solo very, very early on. So for me, yeah, I definitely need to see them just keep themselves alive for a little bit longer, Speaking of, though, maybe not keeping yourselves alive for a while, we got some teams doing a little bit of that hot drop action coming on in here, namely over by Farm, it looks like, maybe over by Boatyard as well. Got a lot of concentration of teams here, as we'll see how it's all going to sort itself out, how it's all going to pan out. And look, DK, it is a bread and butter, normal as they come zone.
See, chat, I told you. I told you. That is exactly what is happening here. The zone centering up over towards Potato Hill. So it's going to be, I think, a decent spread here for the squads, right? I mean, nobody really contesting anything. We do have a little bit of a close drop towards that eastern bridge, but again, nothing too serious just yet. As you can see, there is at least some decent space available to everybody. So now it's going to be looting phase. But I want to see what the mindset is here, right? Are they going to loot up and advance, try to get themselves situated in that next phase, or are they going to try and extend the loot phase as long as possible? Of course, this is that only point of contention that we saw coming in here. Of course, it's none other than Roscar and the Cam Army. But Cam Army bringing in a really good play in the previous game. Can they now look to improve even more, or are they going to back off, disengage, and maybe get themselves positioned elsewhere? And I think the big question regarding that especially is going to be if they make a lot of noise. They need to be careful, because One for All is just over on towards their west.
Yeah, this is a recipe for a standoff, if ever there was one, right? You got very evenly placed teams, not a whole lot of loot. Everybody's looking at each other. Christie does go down to go away. But, yeah, they're going to have to be very careful that they don't get caught out here, that they don't get completely stuck in this one position. It's the last Erangel of the day. Nice, easy zone. You don't want to put yourself in that position moving forward. As we look at the other teams, I'm not really seeing too much of a hot drop coming in from anybody. It looks like everybody's kind of spread out, doing their own thing. We got a team over by Severny. We got a team on North George as well. Big Baby down by Primorsk. So, for a lot of these teams, they're going to be having a very, very chill game. Really like this from Cam. They are deciding to move away. They're not going to be staying there. They're not going to be stuck there. They're just going to move away and move on with their lives. They already have 2 eliminations, right? RS, unfortunately, losing 2-1 here. So, never mind. Cam are just going to be moving in from a different angle. Love that for us, as they are going to try and clean up those extra 2 players. I mean, I suppose if you have that 2-player advantage, you are going to try that. However, this early in the game, I don't know. It's risky.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. They're already so involved, already so invested in that position, right? But they do have the numbers, right? They've been able to take down 2 players, so let's see whether or not they can follow through and pick up the rest of Roscar, as Bad Boy is just holding it nice and steady. A very isolated position, so this might be their ticket coming through. Their name might be called. But I like this decisiveness from the side of Cam Army. Even if a vehicle or buggy comes flying on by, that is not going to be enough to deter the advances here from Dizzy. You know, it's just up the staircase, got to be watchful. Oh, beautiful setup from Bad Boy. DBS to the face. How you doing? Now it's going to be close with a quick follow through here, as Go Away comes in with a saving play to save the day. And Cam Army can keep themselves back on a full 4-piece.
My goodness. That, Anyway, moving on. I'm not going to mention. I'm going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. It's nice, GG. They get another elimination on the board. They're good to go. Oh, but in the zone, Dark. He's going to go all dark here. Lights out for him as BRBA. He comes across the full squad. It's crazy, all in one vehicle. What is with this event and full squads in all in one vehicle? That's the second time now we've seen that. Team Germany was in the last game doing the exact same thing, and as a solo, there is nothing more frightening than just rolling up on that.
Probably the fact that there's not a lot of gas cans accessible to them, right? The cost of that fuel being a little bit difficult to secure this time around, so it makes sense, right? They're just doing a all huddled up approach as they push across the way. You know, let's see whether or not Caliphate can get a little bit of something done here as they are pushing forward. Ooh. All right, a decent spread. They've spotted a few potential victims just ahead of them. And that's, of course, none other than 721 as Caliphate comes on. Full send. Ooh. I'm not quite sure if they've done a little bit of testing to see if there's any contention in the compound. It's going to be Koji and the rest of 721 now getting ready to welcome them in with open barrels. Ooh, Caliphate, though, is condensed up in the corner here. That's where they heard the initial shots come from, and the rest of 721 has that element of surprise still available to them as they do lose their player right on the front line.
Still fairly even. That nade just gonna go inside the building. They're not aware that he's outside, so nearly misses out on that one. But still a fairly even fight coming on through here. Just that lack of information able to give them a little bit of an advantage, but that advantage is quickly dwindling now as they try to make something work here. T721, they can have a bad game here. It's not the end of the world if they do. They've had a really good tournament so far. The first 2 games went quite well for them. But to go out early now in stage 1 would be just such a crime, such a travesty. To be avoided at all costs, even if it doesn't matter too much if they go out now, and a nade is going to grab Koji here. Spidey, last man standing. Caliphate just moving in super quick, and they have to because look at the minimap here, DK. Who is that is moving in all around them? Is that? I can't quite see. There's 2 different teams there. Team Germany, definitely one of them.
Yeah, the other one is one for all as, you know, they can't step away from an opportunity at all. Beautiful nade out the window, almost finding its spot. Spidey now looking to contest as he is trying to hold up as best he can, but of course, gotta watch out for those mollies. The send is their absolute aggression. As the Caliphate come in with a very successful push. Now it's going to be Team Germany looking to third party the living goodness out of this. Unfortunately, I would say here for Caliphate, right, that 2-2 split that they've got actually provides them a bit of safety as Shadow locks in, and that's going to be Nomi absolutely just dropped on down.
Goodness, and that was a quick flick as well. Really nice coming in from them, and unfortunately for the Caliphate, that gives Team Germany ample opportunity to move on in very, very quickly here. Nice response here from the outside players on that off angle, able to just try and protect them a little bit more here. But just down to 3, down to 2 if they can't get this res up, but it looks like they're going to be able to. Got a little bit of that coverage, a little bit of that smoke going on, and we will see now if they're able to bounce back from this, because now Team Germany, what's really interesting and what I love about this angle in particular we're seeing on Gentleman's POV is that they're in now the exact same position that the Caliphate was in a moment ago up against 721. The turns have tabled, roles reversed, and now Team Germany might just give them a taste of their own medicine.
Oh, that nade angle looked pretty good. Fortunately, that is not the way he's going to look to send it just yet. But now it's going to be up to Dude and the rest here of Caliphate to see if they can maybe contest this. Germany, I like the kind of pacing that they bring in here, right? It did look at, for some point, like Caliphate was going to try and turn this one against them. But now it's going to be Nomi with a phenomenal nade. Is he going to close it up? Just a few moments. And the answer is yes. King is out. Caliphate down to 2. But again, even more third parties now looking to roll on up here. As you can see, another squad just continuing to roll by. Doesn't seem like Ozrox are going to be too interested in engaging here. They will be getting themselves set up just in case. But they just want to assess the situation, right? Just figure out kind of what the play is, what is happening here between Caliphate and Germany.
Yeah, really nice, respectful distance to figure this out from as well, right? They're not going in. They're just on the other side of the ridge here, making sure that they're not interfering, that they're not, you know, pushing too far, and that they're just able to gather the information that they want without too much worry. I think, though, they are going to decide to leave it here. They're outside a zone. It would be much better for them to move up to Potato Hill, for instance, and wait for that zone to push those teams towards them. Amix, though, in that Elam feed, having a rough time of it. Down to 2 they go, and goodness, it's up against Cam as well. Cam have been having a really good day so far. Amix not so much. They've got about half the points that Cam does. And Cam has a hovercraft, but maybe not for long the way that those shots are ringing out here. And that's going to be Cam Rangers down to 2. So clearly Amix able to just give them a taste of their own medicine. However, they fall one by one. Amix down to just a solo now. No, Amix out completely. There we go. And we're going to see now Cam on the leaderboards here. Out in the blue zone. A lot of these teams out in the blue zone here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good turnaround here coming through from the side of Cam Army as they do find the Cam Rangers. You see Mo still holding up there in a hotel looking for a little bit of a setup here. Close, Fanta, the final 2 contenders left to kind of defend the position. But I think the main focus here is going to be that zone positioning, right? You need to get back into the safe zone because phase 3 has hit. And that is going to do some horrible things to the health bars. Let's see whether or not Fanta and Close can actually get out of this. Ooh, a cheeky push coming back in. New player closing it up. Gets the hit in and jump down Cam Rangers. Now, not being able to continue too much with their play as they got to get left out in the blue. Cam Army need to now stop patrolling the area and get into the safe zone. Now, Ozrox, though, also really close to that exact same engagement. Team Germany also not too far away from that either. So this could be quite a bit of that snowball momentum building as the teams look to push jumps now, feeling the heat as they too still try to get themselves in the safe zone.
And what a zone it's turning out to be. Look at all the teams here in this small area. Everybody just moving through. They have to really just call a truce here just to get through. They see those teams, those players whizzing past, but nobody's going to be taking any shots here. They're just going to be moving on through, trying to get into this zone. The zone is going to be a really interesting one, so we do have an interesting finish to finish up these Erangels today. It's going to be going over to that river right in the middle here, so lots of interesting terrain to play from, lots of really cool compounds, and Team Germany down to a duo already, just getting shot. They just over peaked that hillside, I think, and EA able to capitalize on that, make sure that they can safely get into this compound.
Well, Jump's now looking to do a little bit more here. As we can see, they've been able to secure themselves 1 elimination so far. 8 points in total is what they've got. All the way down in that 15th position. 1 for all, though. Looking just to keep things ablaze here as this is their opportunity to capitalize. Magma also with a decent setup here, right on bend, right? Locking down the compound. Looking for a bit of an angle. I like what Pera's doing, also just playing through that forest, right? Trying to keep their options open, looking over towards that more western side of the zone, just in case they need to try and fortify. But now, Germany looking to commit here. As the zone is going to shift up once again. It is going to take us a little bit more over towards that western side. So Rozok is going to be prime real estate. And I like this quick movement going through from Magma, right? They've realized that they are not in a strong position, so they will have to relocate. And this is where the chaos is going to start to ensue, right? As I think essentially Garden is going to be that main focal point for a lot of the teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a really strong compound to move into and to hold, I think, at least for the foreseeable future, as Ozrock's going to be in as a duo onto that south side of Rozhawk. A little bit of that high ground able to come on through here. The rest of the teams, though, over on this garden side, really going to have to fight it out here. Magma trying to defend as much as possible. Does have the Bison. Nice rate of fire, able to do something, but not against the S12K. It is over for player 1. Down he goes, and yikes, that's Magma down to a duo very quickly here. Big Baby making sure that they take as many of those Elans as possible, steal them away, and Nade takes out Puma. And that's going to be 20 now, having to just gun it, run it, leave it alone, move elsewhere. And that's really unfortunate, because still 13 teams alive, right? So still very much all to play for. And as a solo, you do not want to go out now.
I think for BRBA, this is definitely a decent position to be in here, as you know, they've got a nice bit of reach, nice bit of lookout down onto the edge as Goats is going to get picked on up. Very easy play coming through here from Genshi. But there's so much contention up in Rozhok itself, right, that I think that the two teams up towards the north, Motion and, of course, Kill for Win, are going to have quite a big opportunity available to them. Of course, it is quite reliant and dependent on how that altercation kind of plays out between them. But in the meantime, we do find ourselves a bit of a standoff here. We got Big Baby, we've got One for All, we've got Team Germany, we got BRBA, we've got the Rangers, we got the Cam Army, all now just looking to disperse and take up all the compounds right here in Rozhok. And I don't see an easy way out of this, right? Especially if the zone starts to move up to the north. It is going to be absolute mayhem up in this Rozhok region.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Team Germany just unable to do what they need to do here. They have a great first half of the game. We've seen that back-to-back now, and then they just kind of get picked apart. Really unfortunate from them as Gentleman goes down as well as Ozorox. And actually, BRBA have a fantastic spot. I mean, that's such a strong position to have, that little mountaintop there with the silo. Always really work if you can get that. 20 as well, Magma 20. Stealing, it looks like there, even as a solo, trying to get any points he can. So that's nice to see as well. But yes, now we're down 11 teams, and everybody's gone so quiet, waiting for this next zone to pop up. And that's exactly what you want to do. 16 seconds left on the clock. And then the chaos can begin again. By the way, DK, I'm just seeing now that actually Magma 20, he's up on the very north side, just picking apart a team up there, a duo, that's a trio, it looks like that's left on that north side.
Yes, what was left of Motion. Now they are down to Wachu, and so we'll see what Wachu will do. Motion is now going to have to continue a little bit for south. The zone is ripping up over on towards the side of Rozhok. Is there. The Caliphate East Sports very well situated on the far eastern front. It is looking hot and sweaty coming through over on the western edge. Roll up on the north. You see 20 also just on the opposite side of the bridge. We can now being sent army up onto those northern approaches. Actually, looking what we've got here is who is the team to make the first move, right? Everybody is pretty secure in the compounds. Nobody finding themselves in too much of a revealing position, but BRBA can start to explore their options, right? As one of their players already starting to move a little bit more over towards the eastern edges, rotating well outside of zone. 20 going to try and clean up Ked here, but unfortunately not really having too much of an exact location. Doesn't need it though, as he literally goes fishing, picks up a potential elimination, and now it's going to be up to Wachu to see, well, what you'd be doing. And maybe Motion could still look to claim a little bit of pride here.
Really nice work from 20. He's playing this so carefully. Really trying, nice nade as well. Gonna tickle a little bit of that health away from Ked here. Knows he needs a little bit more of an angle. But I really love this from 20. He's playing this very carefully. He's playing this very well. He's not overdoing it at all. Just really trying to get some of those nades in. Unfortunately for him, Motion in a really tricky little angle there, so it does look like they're going to be able to get this this res up successfully. They do, and now 20 has a 1v2 to contend with again.
Yeah, but of course all those nades is going to be drawing a little bit of attention to them, as we did see Cam Army, new player, getting a little bit closer, having to inspect. 20 still very determined, focused over onto the side here of Motion. Of course, they're in zone, right? So there's no reason for them really to focus on anything else. But you also always got to keep a watchful eye on what new player could look to do, as there is a big potential for that third-party angle. But the team's back in Rozhok here, Nep. Still not doing all too much, though.
No. Very much a very quiet phase of the game, stage 5. It's because no one really had to move. You know, the zone still incorporated most of Rozhawk, if not all of it. It just means that a lot of these teams now get pushed a little bit more on that edge, a little bit closer together. It means that this next phase coming over in 20 seconds is going to be pretty insane. But for now, we just have to wait, just have to chill. And wait, what am I seeing? Is that? No, that's one for all. I could have sworn I saw Team Germany with a full squad, but I think their colors are just very similar. So that is not the case. It's just a solo left for Team Germany. And so yeah, we will see how this is going as the next zone. Ooh, what a hard shift. Now all of these teams have to move in. One for all have a great position, but that's going to be so much work for them to fend off all of these teams at once.
Well, I mean, yes, there's going to be a little bit of fending off, but also at the same time, I think it's quite an opportunistic position that they decided to go for here, right? Because Big Baby is essentially going to be the ones to start a lot of that cascading carnage. And this is that opportunity now for One for All to try and capitalize on that. But of course, it is going to be Caesar there getting spotted out as One for All got a little bit too close, a little bit too over-eager. And Overladdie just sent it back towards them. Ozarok still having to move up. Cam Army having to rotate in alongside the players coming through from the Rangers as well. So it's still a very difficult rotation for quite a few squads. We do say goodbye to Ked as well, but BRBA, I think they've got a good opportunity, right? They've not yet been spotted as they start to push a little bit more on towards that eastern side. Still got to watch out for the squad there from Caliphate. But aside from that, it could be a somewhat successful push back into this next phase.
It could indeed. Oh, that's Team Germany. Gonna be going out. One less team to contend with. So, that's gonna be them out, and that leaves a little bit more space for these other teams to come on through. BRBA down to just a solo now. Gonna be able to get this res back up, but that was a very clean little knock. And unfortunately, it might just mean the end here as a nade comes on through, and that's gonna be an immediate push coming in here. Can he take him out? No, he can't. That's going to be Shadow. No, rather, it's going to be added from It's in the zone, taking them out. BRBA have to be satisfied with 10th place, not even grabbing a position point here.
What's interesting to see is, of course, that, you know, Added was in that compound the entire time, right? So the entirety of BRBA got taken down by a solo, so...
Oh, fantastic.
That just shows you how strong the position is that Added was holding on to. Ozrock's going to be the next team looking to contest as they too will be knocking on the doors of the exact same compound. Caliphate, this is their opportunity to rise as nobody is here to contest them over on towards the eastern side. They've got this beautiful ridge to play through as well. But can they now capitalize on it, right? Can they bank it up and get themselves those points? Already sitting with 5 on the board. I like where they're going with this, right? Really trying to improve their overall win situation. They are currently 10 points behind first place. So they could be a nice bit of a surprise coming through for them if they have a successful run with what remaining players they have in this game. But Big Baby, though, really looking pretty strong. The only squad with 3 players still up. 20 might not be able to survive too much longer. But One for All McQueen is going to try and do everything he can at this point.
The zone does move away again, ever so slightly. It's not by much, but it does mean that teams like Big Baby do have to just keep pushing through. They cannot stop here. They cannot stop now. And that's going to keep pushing them into more and more teams here. Overlaid, able to get potentially a finish here onto yet another player. And Cam going to try and get this res, but it's a really risky one. He's just in the corner here. Surely, no, wrong floor, wrong floor. They will get that res up somehow, some way. And it's a little bit too late now. Ooh, but a quick flick just means that Dizzy gonna be feeling super dizzy from that one. Gonna be going back to the lobby with a little bit of a headache. Meanwhile, new player able to res up, heal up, and get out of dodge as fast as possible. And can he do it? No, he can't. It's just out in the open. Stroh's right behind him. And the S12K has a little bit more range than it should, I think.
I mean, and that's the whole discussion I had with Max last week, right? Is they said the shotties have been nerfed It doesn't, to me, seem like that has happened at all, as the S12K and the DBS is still quite formidable weapons. But, of course, now, speaking about the DBS, that is exactly what Blue has here as part of his loadout. Blue now having to defend the honor of Ozrox. Big Baby knocking on the door. We already saw what Struce has been capable of so far. Is that going to be enough? As the utilities, the mollies now come in. The wooden floor really helping with the spread. Overdaddy coming on the edge. Big Baby know that they could potentially clutch this one out. And what a good effort this has been so far here by Big Baby. All right, already 6 eliminations up, 30 points on the board. Oh, big watch out for these smokes as they now start to advance. The cheeky hits from the DBS coming in. Blue gets downed. And that is it. Big Baby down to 2-piece.
Very clean finish, though. He knew he wasn't going to be able to do much there. He knew he was getting shot at from another angle entirely. He just goes for that 1 point, secures that point before going out. In this situation, I can respect it. That is fine. Big Baby now really just... What's the word? What's the word I'm trying to go for? I can't remember the word. Hampered. That's the one. Really hampered by what's going on here, just down to that 2. They were looking really, really good for the win, but now it's been completely evened up. 2v2, v2, v1, going in through here. And we might just see a solo or two go into a mode or two of actually backstabbing. Actually, maybe you're a duo, but maybe you don't know where we are right now, and we're going to take the win from you. So all these teams have to be very, very careful indeed.
Yeah, so this is going to be a duo party. Was Magma and in the zone also invited to the party as they together form up a duo on either side of that zone. 20, unfortunately, not going to be able to put that party hat on, as he will get taken on out. We're down to the final 4. So let's see what is going to happen. 1 for all looking pretty decent. Quite comfortable in that center zone. Big Baby just on the very edge of that. And of course on the opposite side is where we can see the Caliphate squad. Oh, beautiful nade though coming through from Frizz. Nice bit of a bounce. Bounces right in that window. Timing it near perfectly. Look at that, that reach. But fortunately, Big Baby, they've learned from that. So they won't be caught out by a similar play yet again. But now I'm curious to see how the Caliphate Esports squad is going to look to push in, right? Of course, coming over that hill is going to expose their position absolutely. So are they going to try and buy a little bit of time? Just kind of wait until the players here from 1 for all maybe start to engage with Big Baby? Or are they just going to full send it? Of course, well, we'll find out soon, as it is stage 9. There's no more phases to come. Only blue, only damage, and only one team will walk away with that winner chicken dinner in the bag.
And that's where, actually, they're using these nades really well because it pushes teams back. It keeps them up against that zone. It makes sure that they can't push forward here. King kind of ignoring that a little bit. Both of them just still moving on up here. Might just have a little bit of an angle onto in the zone here. We'll see what they can do about that. But yeah, the zone is definitely pushing everybody in, and those nades don't last forever. So eventually, one are going to have to fight these teams on all sides. But they do have the advantage. I mean, I would say it's an advantage, but also I don't like compounds because I don't like buildings because of the close quarter issue there. But, you know, they do have center of zone, so really all these teams have to come to them. All these teams have to shoot at each other on the way in. See exactly my point here. Added, narrowly missing out on that one, but that's going to be, yeah, there you go. King just taking him out there. That's one less team for one to deal with. But look, Frizz on the roof gets taken down, and meanwhile, it's now going to be 2 teams back. It's a 3-way. It's complete 3-ways. King moves in, moves up, tries to take this house for himself. His teammate is down. It's all up to him, but everybody's a solo right now. It's a 1v1v1. Nice Molotov. Really well timed there. He was about to go upstairs. In the meantime, has to do something. He can't quite decide what to do, and now the Caliphate up to 2. Can he get this one? No, he cannot. Now King on the real has a real issue. Down he goes. Yeah, he waited too long. There was nothing he seemed to be able to do about it. 1 for all. Back up to a duo. Ooh, narrowly missing that MG3. This Frizz gonna be able to heal on up here, DK.
Yep, this is still going to be a very heavy fight either which way you look at it. But there we go. One team will rise to the occasion. One for all. Stepping up and walking away with the dub. They get their hands on that winner chicken dinner. And a very exciting push coming through from them. Of course, they were holding on to that compound. They got pushed from so many different angles. And what ended up happening is the pushing teams actually fought each other, right? Buying a bit of opportunity for the side of One for All. And at the end of the day, they were the team to close it up and walk away with that winner chicken dinner.
They really were. Frizz coming in clutch there with that 1v2 quick flick with the S12. And yeah, MG3 can do nothing about that, DK. Very excited to see these leaderboards coming on up.
Yep, let's take a look as we hop straight into that. Of course, we now find One for All solidified here with a 4-point lead ahead of the players coming through from Big Baby. I like the pressure being applied here. Caliphate also very consistent here as well. As you can see them now sitting on 26 glorious points rather. Cam Army also like where that consistency is going and the team's really locking it in. But I mean, there's not even a big point disparity between 1st and 8th place, right? There is now quite a bit of a gap widening between 1st and 16th. As you can see that whole situation sitting on, I believe that is what, 32 points. So if Rosecar wants to do something, they're going to have to act quickly because come tomorrow, I don't see that being very likely. And of course, 6th place is the lowest spot that you need to aim for.
Right, that's very true. And BRBA, another one of those teams that have fallen short, right? They had such a good first game, a decent second game, but we've just seen them slowly work their way down the leaderboards. There's still very much all to play for here. They're only, 21 points away from that first place. That's a very easy margin, especially thinking about how we have 2 Miramars left today, let alone the 5 tomorrow as well. But yeah, I would really need to see them have one more good game today to really make sure that they're comfortable to fight in tomorrow's games as well.
Yeah, because of course you can bet yourself that tomorrow is going to be a heavily contested days with the teams trying to do that last little bit that they can to ensure that they finish strong. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what that will be. But of course, in the meantime, we have to get ready for a little bit of that Miramar action that is going to be coming in next. So stay tuned, and we'll see you right after the highlights.
Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Albertson'a yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Albertson'a yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi kim diyor bunu?
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin maçı geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Albertson'a yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Albertson'a yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi kim diyor bunu?
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin maçı geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Welcome back to the Always On Poland edition. My name is DK and I'm here with Neptro and we're taking you through all the action that we've been looking at so far today. We've wrapped up Rondo, we've wrapped up Erangel. Next up, we're heading over into the lovely dusty dunes of Murmur to see what our teams are going to be doing. We've also seen quite a bit of resurgence of One for All, right? They've really just been hammering in those points, driving through quite a few points across the board. But now the big question comes, right? Will Ozrox be able to bounce back as we are heading into a territory they know quite well?
Right? Yeah, I should hope so. I should hope that they were just biding their time, doing their best. Maybe it's a bit of an off day. Maybe those zones just not working in their favor, and they're like, we'll just wait for the Miramar, and then we'll have a little bit more of that action, a little bit more of that room to really do what we do best. So, always fingers crossed for Ozrox, but you're right. We are looking at a really good run for One for All. Big Baby as well, right? Only, what, 4 points behind them? So there's a little bit of a gap between them and the Caliphate, who have climbed up as well into that third place, 37 to 26. So there's a little bit of a gap there. So it's nice to see, you know, those top two teams able to do some really good work and put forward a decent amount of points in day one.
Yep, there's going to be quite a little bit of work still to be done here, as we, of course, know, right? The teams are all playing for something, right? They're playing for their share of the prize pool for this event. So excited to see how it's going to pan out. And, of course, who are going to be those teams to walk away with the lion's share of it? The team that wins walks away with the 1,000 hero, right? 1K. That's what they get. Absolutely amazing stuff. Second place, of course, 600. Then we go to 400, 250, 150, and 100. So if you want a share of the prize, you have to finish within that top 6. And the only way to get that done is to do the work out on the battlefield. Secure those points. Survive as long as you possibly can. and just win, right? You just got to win. That's it.
You just gotta win.
Yeah, easy.
Pretty easy.
Right? Step in,
Yeah.
win, leave, happy day. But of course, if only it was that simple, we wouldn't be here because it would have been decided quite early on. But yeah, I'm curious to see what is going to happen. Are we going to have some other teams looking to kind of bounce back up those leaderboards, or are we pretty much secured or locked in, right? Is this going to be the trend of the day going into tomorrow as well? Of course, only one way to find out is we can see the point situation there. Just to remind everyone again, 1 for all the way on 41. Then we got 37. Then we drop off a little bit, but it's still contentious, right? Anywhere from 3rd place to 16th. That could quite easily change in this next game. Of course, catching 2nd and 1st place, I think would only be realistic for the teams over on that left-hand side.
I think so as well. I mean, maybe you've got that 9th place as well, just 2 points behind 20. That puts you at 18 points. So maybe something like that. Yeah, but I think we've got a decent enough lead now where we're starting to see, depending on particularly how this next Miramar goes, but also the next 2, I think is really going to decide how many teams really have a shot at tomorrow, at winning tomorrow as well, right? Because yes, days are very different. You know, you have a good day today, a bad day tomorrow. But if you've got the momentum and you're building towards it, particularly towards the end of the day, you're going to be in a really good mood for tomorrow, and that's just really going to help your chances of getting forward and actually getting the win that you want.
Yeah, it also helps make it tomorrow a little bit less stressful, right? Because day 2, the final day, usually is the stress day. Usually is the day where teams have to squirm quite a bit to try and make up those points. And of course, speaking about making up points, let's head out into the desert to see what that flight path is, where the teams are going to be going, and of course, what the zone is going to be bringing in.
Yes. Oh, a dodgy plane path coming in onto the first one of Miramar here. Not exactly the most straightforward plane paths for these teams to go on to, but it's right over the top of Los Leones, so for a certain amount of teams, it's going to be a nice drop for them. We'll be seeing, though, DK, are there going to be any hot drops? Are there going to be any sort of contention areas potentially coming on through here? Maybe not that full hot drop. I just hope it's not Picado, but already looks like we might have a little bit of action over in Impala.
Ooh, yeah, we do have 2 squads hitting right over there. We can see it's in the zone, accompanied by somebody else who we'll find out very soon. In the meantime, we've got bumps on screen, as they are getting ready for a little bit of an altercation against the side of Team Germany. The first few shots already getting fired off here as Vert is going to look for that entry point. The Nox also now starting to get sent over on towards default. It is absolute pressure across the way. The players from in the zone currently, as it is revealed over onto Los Leones. But is that going to be enough for them to survive? It is, of course, then Bumps looking to get right down to business as the shots come through. Bumps gets picked up, and Germany coming through with some bare-knuckle engagements.
Not the start to Miramar that they wanted. Oh, dear me. EA7, Team Germany, man. EA7 standing no chance. Team Germany, they do what they want when it comes to the early game. That's the second time they've proven it, and so even across the board, every single player able to get a point on their board, and just very, very easy business. When they want to shine like that, they shine. So EA7, very, very unfortunate, but you know what? It's a little bit of a popcorn break, a little bit of a drink break, you know, a little bit of a bathroom break even, if you will. They've got like 20 minutes to just chill, relax, and reset ready for that final game of the day. So, gonna be very easy for them, potentially. And, you know, they'll just have more time, more relaxed attitude, more than these other teams potentially here. As a mix Spike gonna be grabbing the elimination. And is that a second team gone already?
Yep. Very close.
Oof.
Well, it's so close that it actually has happened. We are down to only 14 remaining teams. So, yeah, a lot of heat, a lot of pressure. But it's not going to stop there, as we do see the players from 1 for all also finding themselves in a bit of an altercation all the way up into that Hacienda del Patron area. Minas Generales looking pretty hot as well. But let's see. It is going to be BRBA coming in hard and swinging. Looking for a little bit of that opportunity for no eliminations going their way, but they do find Frizz. 1 down. Can they find the rest? Oh, I love this aggression coming through from BRBA. is looking to make the desert their own. Oh, not a drop of blood will be spared as they push on forward. One for all, falling to the wayside slowly but surely. And now it's up to McQueen and Nabuni to try and keep them alive, but Nabuni is so low on that health bar.
It really is. Oh my goodness, just about makes it out of there. I'm so surprised by the amount of action that we've seen just in the first 4 minutes. I mean, this is not normally something you see on Miramar. Yes, you might have 1 or 2 hot drops, but on Miramar it almost always stagnates. And that is always such a real slow start to the game. But here, not the case at all. So many points being taken up already. Might make for a slower mid-game, but for now, it's really exciting. Love to see that coming through. Cam Army, rather. Next up to the chopping block. Gonna be trying to take control of Minas Generalis here. And we will see who's gonna win out here. Looks like the opposing team just don't want that heat just yet. They are not ready for it.
Well, it is the Caliphate Esports squad. I mean, they don't necessarily have to get overly involved in this engagement, but they do have to if they want to defend against the side here of Cam Army, right? Because there's currently just 1 point separating these two teams and their overall position on the standings. And as we know, each position, especially in the top 6, is worth a set amount of money. So the Caliphate Esports squad are definitely going to try and upgrade their bank here, but Go Away does exactly what his name suggests and helps Shooter make his way into a hasty retreat. Now it's up to the remaining players to try and bounce on back. It's going to be Dude, Shadow, and King. But will they be crowned victors of Minas Generalis? Of course, we'll find out very soon. But in the meantime, though, the rest of the lobby, they're taking a very quiet approach, right? And as the aggression continues here, this also then allows potentially then for Team Germany to come sneaking in on that eastern edge as well.
Oh, hang on. The buggy getting a little bit of that air as they move forward here. Might just be, as you said, right, the last altercation we see for a little bit. There we go. New player going to be grabbing him, taking him on down as the JS9 makes its way onto Miramar. That's going to be WS down to just 1 solo. Not the ideal game for any of these teams that have gone out so early. And actually another team that we're seeing down quite low is One for All here, right? One for All down to just a duo. Not sure who's been taking them out. I missed that if we saw it. But yeah, not going to be easy for a lot of these teams. However, it is great news for the teams that have not had an altercation yet, that have just minded their own business. Less teams to worry about, less positions to be filled, more room for these teams to do what they need to do. So, for everybody else, this is a great sign of a very strong game for them.
Yep, definitely creating that opportunity for teams to try and capitalize upon. Well, let's see now if that is on the table here for 721, as the aggressors need to do exactly that, right? They need to get a little bit aggressive. And it could be Team Magma that they focus their efforts upon. Spera and 20 very exposed here. Not a lot of coverage, and doesn't seem like there's a lot of reinforcements there. Even though the rest of the team is just hanging around in the vicinity, right? Magma's still trying to play a little bit more of a spread out approach here. But I like what Germany is doing as well, right? Not overly committing to anything as well, right? They were pretty close up on towards that northeastern side, kind of looking up into Minas Generalis, but they are just trying to figure out what is going to be the play here. Looks like they might be opting for a wide rotate up in towards truck stop, but that is where they're going to be bumping into yet another squad. So it is not going to be smooth sailing whichever way they decide to go.
It's not at all, no. There's several teams up on that side. Hard to really know. It looks like they might just forego that, go elsewhere, move through Labendi. That would be the better play, although they do have to be careful not to go too far south, because Amix will be waiting for them if they do that. A little bit of a rotation having to come through here on that northeast side. But let's see now. Let's see what is going to be going on through here is 4 more seconds until stage number 2 is going to be shown here. And then we will know really how this game is going to go. Because if we get a hard shift, it's going to be chaos, chaos, chaos. If it's going to be a normal zone, then we have a little bit more time to chat.
Yeah. Well, not too much of a hard shift, right? It is just going to be taking us over towards that Picado side out in the fields. So Magma 721, they're going to have a pretty comfortable ride. Rangers also, I'd say, nothing too miraculous on that end. They do have the church that they could look to potentially contest there, as that is already where we've got the players from Rosecar now situated. So could look at a little bit of a setup, but I think for Rosecar, that is exactly the kind of setup they want coming into a phase like this. In the meantime, Motion and Ozarks rather, are going to be pushing in from those far southern approaches. So curious to see how those rotations are going to pan out and where they'll choose to call home. But now it's just everybody just kind of trying to find that next position to move into. And of course, it is going to be Kill for Win that is going to be kicking that party off as they do land a few sprays over onto the players there from the Caliphate all the way up on towards the north.
They do indeed. Oh, in Motion up against Ozarks here. Uh-oh. Thought he might be brave, might try and get a shot there, but they came a little bit too close for comfort. Amix as well, going up against Team Germany. They have gone too far south here, DK. They've moved into the Amix territory, and now that fight is really well and truly popping off over to the north of Los Leones here. It's a good position to fight for. Amix do lose one. Havlik goes out early, so that's going to be that player advantage coming into favor with Team Germany here, but still not sure it's a fight you really want. Team Germany certainly don't want it. Amix want it even less. 15 points on the board for Amix. They need to have a good game. Both of these teams need to have a good game. Germany have 5 eliminations so far. They are looking very nice, looking very good. They just need to survive to that end game.
I like this kind of pacing from them as well, right? It does seem like they do enjoy Miramar a little bit more. Can they lock it in? Motion, though. Also trying to bounce back on in. Matic getting real close to Tough Love over here. Unfortunately for Matic, Rosecar is not in the best position here. All these ridges being a little bit of a saving grace here for them. Of course, it allows the cavalry to start rolling on in as well. And this is where Tough Love needs to watch out, right? If it gets too tunnel visioned over on towards Matic, pretty sure that Ozarks are not going to back down from an opportunity, as that is exactly what's happening. The shots are now flying through. Tough Love now needing to just kind of abandon that initial approach, and off they go. Meanwhile, you see Close also finding a bit of a spray onto Magmar as the zone now pulls even more up into Picado. And this is where things now could get quite complicated, because I think if a team gets themselves situated somewhat decently up in Picado, they would have quite a bit of a vantage point to fight from, as well as the warehouse that we have a little bit more towards the eastern side of Picado.
That warehouse is a really good asset, to be sure, and a team can kind of hide there for a little while, right? It's one of those things where it's kind of out of the way, so you can stay there for a long time if you're just trying to get to that top 8 position before you start making any real moves, or if you've had a good start like Team Germany, but you don't want the mid-game to spell disaster for you. It'd be a great position to take, because it can be very strong in that end game. So would be a nice position for any of these teams if they get that opportunity. As Magma still up as 4. We saw some cool stuff coming in from 20 in the last game, right? He was able to get his team some eliminations and some placement points, so that was nice to see from him. He's currently trying to do something here up against Star. We'll see if they can do something here, because it is one of those warehouses that we were talking about that's going to be in contention over. And we will see how that shapes up, as well, we got a minute and a half until stage 4 already, DK. The zone's already looking a little small. If you look over to where all those teams are situated, there's a lot of teams on the edge. They don't feel like they can really squeeze through. Motion and Amix being one of them, as Matic, oh my goodness me, down he goes, overlaid with a massive backstab coming through there. Might just make things a little easier for them. Not in that vehicle, though. A little bit too slow. XO, what you doing? Where you going? Back to the lobby is the answer. And Motion able to just even things up here.
Oh, it's not done just yet. It's gonna be Kid now also still trying to defend. Big Baby relentless in the efforts here, but King, can he do it? As I believe Big Baby also having quite a bit of a tough situation. I'm not sure if their numbers are going to be able to hold up. King just trying to get himself back in fighting form. But here we have it now, Team Motion. Actually trying to kind of just ride it out. Tank a little bit of this blue damage. I mean, yes, it is stage 3, so once this is wrapped, they need to get their butts back into safety, and they don't have that far to go, but it's all going to rely on what happens here with Ked. Can he get that clean up? Oh, King trying everything they can, trying to survive it, and might actually deny that elimination, right? As he might go down to the blue. We're not seeing many meds over on that side. Oh, King super low in the health bars. Oh, and down he goes. All right, so that means Big Baby is now down to Struce, but Struce already managing to get out of the pressure cooker here, finding himself in a position just ahead out of that blue zone. It's all going to be now in the hands of Motion to see if they can pick that ball up and keep it rolling. Meanwhile, over towards the far eastern side, Ozarok's looking to also just contest the edge, right? Gathering a little bit of information, not going to be full sending it just yet. They don't want to make any big major mistakes, and of course, it's none other than Team Germany holding that position right alongside them.
It's a really interesting spread of teams that we've got going on here, actually. There's a lot of big spreads coming through here. There's a lot of teams on all of those edges. There's a lot of teams in positions where those teams on the edges will want. So it's going to be starting to get pretty hot and sweaty here in a minute as Ozarok's looking for that next entry point, right? They've got a great position here, but unfortunately it is outside of the zone, and they got just over 2 minutes to figure that out and move forward and not get caught out by the blue, because it is going to start ticking away at that damage pretty soon here. Strauss as well, being one of those teams that's just like very careful. I cannot make a mistake here. I'm so far out of the placement points. And he's just going to run by a duo very casually here along the bumpy terrain and then straight into in the zone and out to the lobby he goes. No more in the game for him. Very unfortunate, but what was he supposed to do there? There's just way too many teams.
Yeah, but this is also, I think, quite a commanding position here for Rosecott to take occupancy of right on the edge of zone. Of course, we know there's no more teams outside of zone. Everybody has made it into the safe area. Let's see how this all now unravels, as it is going to be Team Germany and Ozarok's finding themselves in a bit of an altercation. Big coming through with a play. Finding a decent chunk of damage, but not enough to convert that into a successful knock just yet. Team Germany quickly bounced back. Amex also just holding on the edge here as Quick is going to slowly just move a little bit closer. Not going to overcommit to it. Leon also being quite hesitant here with the plays. That vehicle's taking an immense amount of damage, but fortunately he is still able to live and tell the tale about it. But can they continue now? As Ozarok's are yet to secure points, right? They've not been able to get a single lick of eliminations coming their way. Meanwhile, Motion, oh, they've snuck up into Picado. But Butcher needs to one shot. You can't overpeak those windows, especially not with BRBA right outside of it.
It'd be interesting to see what the next move is for a lot of these teams, especially, you know, a team like Motion, a team like BRBA that are pretty well set up and have been for a while, right? We've been focusing on the teams that are on the edge, trying to move in, trying to get all those elims, trying to find space. But these teams, they're going to have to move. These teams on the inner side, they're going to have to move soon. And all these teams on the edge that are fighting, they're already on high alert, right? They're already doing everything they can to move in, so a team that's been sitting still and suddenly make a move, they're going to be all over it as Cam Army all over this fight that's going on. As actually it's a third party coming through. Magma up against Star, and poor Star just caught in the middle here, down in a dip in the worst possible situation, and Close is going to try and take advantage of that as much as possible, but they got their own things to worry about. They're getting third-partied as well. This is a fourth party coming through here. And of course, it's Team Germany. Oh, Gentleman gets taken out by his own team's nade, though. That could be a little bit of a problem.
Oh, Ozrock's also experiencing some vehicle difficulty here. But, I mean, it was quite funny to look at Close. Close pushing over that ridge. And as he looked over the ridge, he just saw such large numbers of players all positioned over there. I don't think that he was expecting any of that. So, a quick recovery coming through from Cam Army, as they are now left with that duo. There's going to be a new player in Close. And as you've said, right, there's quite a bit of pressure being applied here as well. Germany pushing in from the one side. We've got the players there from Magma coming up the other end, and Close showing off the vehicles, but this is neither the time nor the place to embrace your inner daredevil. That's Close now, just looking at the vehicle up in flames. Not quite sure if he's got anything to do moving forward. But BRBA, this is that kind of setup that you want, right? They've got that hill advantage. They're looking up at the teams ahead of them, all just fighting for survival. And now Germany looking to kind of go on a bit of a rampage here. They need to bring Gentlemen back into the fight to have those numbers, looking to contest against the side of what Magma has been able to bring on through. Oh, 20 gets spotted. Beautiful spray coming in. Formation lined up as well. So this is Germany now looking to capitalize. 6 eliminations up already. Definitely looking to lead the charge. Magma also sitting on 6, but can Magma bounce back from this?
Can they indeed? Germany need to stop losing players in the mid-game. That's all I have to say. They really need to stop that. They've lost one. They're still keeping control. Still making sure that they've got it. And they actually have full control of this now. Very nice fight coming in from them. 8 eliminations on the board. That's pushing them up into 3rd place. Not too far behind those top 2 teams. Of course, Big Baby are out, right? So that's going to be them stuck at 38 points. Germany just needs 7 more, and they're in that placement zone territory. If one more team goes out, they will be getting those placements on top of those elims. So we'll see how that's going to go. Big fights happening off to the south side, though. RS versus 721. These 2 teams going at it. Currently just Christie left, and Amix all of a sudden just going to be full sending with nades and everything over the top. Do they know Christie's there? I don't think they do. No, they don't. They have no idea, but Rorino does. Going to be trying to do something there. Christie down to a little bit of HP only. Let's see how that's going to be throwing a spanner in anybody's works.
Yeah, it could be throwing spanners, could be throwing sinks, could be so many things they're looking to just get rid of at this point, but Christie just trying to survive, unfortunately, is not going to be allowed to do too much of that. His default is going to be the one to slam the door. And, well, Rose Guard tried what they could. Unfortunately, 10 points is all they have now in total. Of course, that is them tied in a 3 ways to kind of set up, as you can see on the right-hand side there. But now we turn our focus over to the side here of BRBA, as they have quite a bit of a controlling setup on the edge of the northwestern side. Where is this going to go? Will they be able to go into any kind of position here? Right, they're looking to see if they can maybe pick up a few sprays, but it's not going to be working out for them just yet. Cam Rangers also just kind of casually waiting here, as Maddie knows that there's so much at stake here, right? The Rangers all the way up in that 8th position, not being able to find themselves a single elimination though, and they just have to listen as BRBA just locks in and runs away with the points here. But this could also be a bit of an opportunity now for Motion as they look to advance. Get has been spotted, and this hill leaves them quite a bit to be desired, right? Not the best safety to move through here.
Not at all. It was a good push out of the city. To be able to get out of it entirely is kind of crazy. But it looks like that might just be the end of the road for them. Not much they can do after that. It's just the high ground, man. We've centered up over the high ground, and it just means that you can't get up the hill. You just can't get up the mountain. It's not going to work. These teams that have been here since the mid-game just are unable to let you in at all. They're like, nope, no room up here. Sorry about that, folks. And that's going to be potentially the end. Yeah, it is the end of them. They're going to be on out. But again, you know, some good, decent placement points coming on in here as we go into our top six.
Yep, there we go. Now this is where the placement points are going to start to ramp on up, right? 8th and 7th place. Each getting 1 placement point apiece. Now 6th place is where it really starts to add up. Default trying to ride the ridge. Spike also there to provide a bit of a helping hand, but they are going up against the side of Team Germany. A little bit more of a ranged assault. I think they can actually afford to do that, right? Just based on the position that they have here. Of course, the zone is going to decide whether or not they can continue to try and poke and prod their way on through. Puma there from Magma. Also, just trying to survive as they are right in the center of the zone. So many players surrounding them currently. T721 looking pretty decent here. The only squad still with that full roster up. Kind of just buying a bit of time, looking to see what this Zigzorn is going to be bringing in. And this could be a big turning point for them, right? They could really look to capitalize and go beyond the 19 points and 7 eliminations they've already been able to secure.
Wow, that could be a big upscale for them. I mean, it's exactly what we were talking about, right? It was like, these teams, if they want to be able to do something here, if they want to be able to have the best opportunity going forward into tomorrow, they need to really have a good game in this game and the next one. And so far, 721 listening to us just a little bit here might be a bit difficult from now on, right? Because they are out on that open side. There's a lot of open ground that they could get taken out on, but it's a good start. It's a very good start indeed.
I'm just looking at McQueen here, right? Playing a little bit of that in intruder position here, just knowing that he's right next to a player who's trying to third-party peek. Looking to discover a little bit more. Oh, you gotta watch out. Oh, man. This is stressful. McQueen now, great opportunity, capitalizing on it. Goes for the confirmation, gets it backed up. This could be a beautiful upset coming through from McQueen. As a BRBA, they know there's somebody here. They don't know exactly where. Oh, but McQueen coming in, a 2-for-1 special. Absolute upset coming through there, but it is going to be T721 to stop the run here. McQueen, I like where his mind was at, trying to be the upset and the thorn in the side, but unfortunately, that thorn got squished. Now, Magma Puma trying to survive, looking to see if he can maybe make it into strong placement points here, as it's still quite a bit of a hurdle for Puma to overcome.
It is indeed. Shame McQueen was able to get that. That's fantastic. But yeah, that was just based on getting stuck on that car. Unfortunate indeed. But yeah, we do have our top 4. And yes, Team Germany back in the top 4. Love to see that coming through. They do have that ridge onto the northeastern side, rather, an A-mix, though. They have that warehouse, DK. We were talking about it. And A-mix now in a great position to maybe do something about it. Somehow T721 were allowed to move into zone, so they now have pretty decent control, actually. And the zone centers on up everybody, so nobody has to move in, and everybody just gets to pick apart the team that they choose next.
Yeah, but the question is, who will that be? Is it going to be Team Germany, Magma, T721, or A-mix? We don't know yet, but we'll find out very soon, as Puma now needs to live up to the hype. Beautiful hits, but it's not going to be enough, as T721 is going to be closing the door right in front of them. Now, down to the final 3 we go. It's a 2v3v4. That is exactly the odds that you want to come into that final phase. Team Germany now getting abruptly brought down to just the duos. Gentleman is going to be riding the ridge, but Aggressor comes through with a beautiful hit onto default. Spike now having to keep his head on a swivel, looking the one way, but gotta watch the other. This is where you need that chameleon vision, right? You're able to watch 2 different positions all at the same time. Not quite sure how exactly that would work out, but hey, in my mind it works. Now it's gonna be Germany looking to clutch it up as they come in here. Already the Nox just getting really, really close to them. Gentlemen and Nomi just need to try and evade those grenades, at least for the time being.
They really do. I mean, I have no idea how 721 have been able to do this. They went from the worst position in the zone, right, to now in full control and actually pushing Team Germany right into the blue zone. Like, they are looking really good for this win. It's a 4v2. They're really playing this very well. The nades are coming through. They're starting to pinpoint exactly where they are, starting to really put them into a corner here, exactly where they want them. Gentleman goes down, and that is it. T721 go from the weakest link to the team on top. Love to see that coming in from the big GGs going over their way.
Yeah, I mean, 721 doing absolutely phenomenal things. I like the tactics that they use, right? Really just capitalizing on the hills. Not full sending it, not getting overly aggressive, kind of just keeping themselves in really good rotations. And at the end of the day, it paid off. It got them right to where they wanted to be. And of course, that was in the hot seat, right? Walking away with that winner chicken dinner. But the big question comes in is, was it enough, right? Were they able to advance themselves with regards to those points, right? Of course, there's only going to be one way for us to know the answer to that question is we're going to be taking a look at those leaderboards to see where the teams find themselves.
Let's look at them. Oh, and one for all. Still keeping ahead, 47, Big Baby, 38. There's not too much of a distance there, but Team Germany with that second place able to just cut in 1 point behind Big Baby. Very nice positioning coming in from them. Great game for them. 7-2-1 aggressors though. 34 points on the board, able to jump up a bunch of places here. And this is exactly what we were talking about, DK. They're able, in this first Miramar of the day, to change the outcome of what they've got going on tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they started off with 22 points. Right now they've got 34, so... well, they got 22 points in this game alone, rather.
Wow.
Right, so 22 of the 34 that they have was secured in just the last run that we saw coming through from there. And so, yeah, a lot of excitement across the board. And as we've said, right, anything can still change up with regards to these points. Nothing is certain just yet, right? But it's all going to come down to how the teams approach the final match of the day. And I still think that there is an opportunity for the teams a little bit further down those rankings to really try and kind of ramp up the performances, right? We did see a team from Rosecar also trying a few tactics out here, trying to kind of get themselves into the points. But unfortunately, they only walked away with that one elimination. So it didn't really work out according to plan. But they can still change it up, right? So they really have to bring it in coming into the final match of the day. And of course, before we get into that, we're going to take a look at a few of the amazing highlights. So we'll see you back in a short few minutes.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi de
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here, because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Tamam, iyi herhalde. Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi de
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready.
Welcome back to the Always On Poland PUBG Mobile Season 2, Day number 1, Game number lost. It is coming in hot. My name is DK, and that's Nipchura over there, and we're going to be taking you through the action to see exactly what's going to be happening here. Just got to see if, she's still alive. I just got to throw her some odd comments and see if any of those stick. But, well, as we can see, the answer is no, it's not going to stick. It's because she's awake. It worked. But either which way, we are going to be stepping into our final match for the day to see who's going to be bagging Winner Chicken dinner number 5. Could it be the players from One for All, Big Baby, Team Germany, Team 721? We don't quite know. It could be any of those, or it could be none of them. It could be Roscar, Pumps, or even In the Zone looking to step it up. But it's all going to ride on how the teams look to kind of pace themselves coming through the final match of the day. So you being our analyst on the desk here today, what do you think is going to be the outcome of what these teams will be bringing in here?
I think we're going to have a repeat of Miramar number 1, to be honest.
Yes.
I think that would be a lot of fun. It was very unexpected, the way that they were going at each other so early on. That's potentially because of the playing path that wasn't very favorable to a lot of teams. Or it was first day, get it all out there, get as many points as possible, and then tomorrow they're going to play very carefully on Miramar. I think that might be the case, but we will see. I think for a lot of these teams, they'll try to avoid, if you're in the top 5, just really avoid any of those fights early on. Team Germany seemed to be allergic to not having a fight early on in the game, so we'll see how that's going to play out for them. But some of these other teams, they might just try and do something here.
Yeah, and of course, if you're allergic to not taking fights, it's there's meds for that. Of course, the best medicine for a case like that, whatever you want to call it, is even more PUBG, right? That is what the doctor describes. If you're allergic to engagements, just get more. Eventually you'll get over it, and you'll just be an absolute legend. Of course, don't trust what I say because I am not a medical professional. But either which way, we are going to be getting closer to the action here to see, of course, what the teams are going to be looking to bring on in here. Speaking of which, though, it does seem like the map is going to be starting to load up. So we are going to be just prepping the engines, making sure that all the seatbelts work the way that they should. And then it is going to be go time. So, yeah, I'm still staying to what I've said before. I want to see the teams further down those leaderboards really use this final match to try and kind of catapult themselves back up into it. I mean, it even extend as far as the Cam Rangers. You could look at Ozrox Esports as well, right? You said before that they are going to surprise us with their performance on this map. I want to see that.
Same. We saw a little glimmer of it occasionally in that last game. They were able to hold their own against a lot of teams, right? Because certainly mid-game and onwards, it was pretty intense over on that open ground. But yeah, for me, I feel the same way. I think we need to see more from them. I want to see just a bit more of a decisive, like just a really decisive, oh, that's a really good game from them, rather than, oh yeah, they did well, but we were busy looking at everybody else and they didn't really stand out. We need a standout performance from them in this next game.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see a little bit of that Ozrox runaway opportunity, right? I want to see them kind of just go crazy, be a little bit bold. Why not, right? It's the final match of the day. It either works or it doesn't. Either which way, you will know, right? So I want to see how that is going to pan out. So yeah, we are going to be heading over into that. Of course, the previous match that we had, the zone was a little bit of a not so pleasant flight path coming through for the team. So let's see what the final Murmur of the day will hold, as we are going to be hopping straight onto the battlefield and heading into the plane.
Oh, similar plane path, DK. Similar indeed. Not looking particularly comfortable for a lot of these teams, although surely a few of them will be happy with it. Chumacera, Valle del Mar, a lot of those are in play. We're just going to have to see now how it's going to be shaping up, and already a lot of teams jumping ship, or jumping plane, I should say. Ozrox, we see there, just still on board, waiting for that prime moment to get to where they need to go. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty chill start to the evening, or start to the match, rather. Start to the evening was about 3 hours ago, so not quite that yet. But fairly chill, it looks like. I see RG potentially, having a little bit of a clash with that solo, splitting a little bit far off from the rest of the team, but probably nothing going to be happening there. A little bit of a clash potentially in Chumacera and also Los Leones coming through here. A lot of teams grouped up on that front, and I think we are going to have a hot drop here over by Hacienda as well. Those teams are just a little bit too close together for it to be really anything else. Ozrox gonna be moving down to Partona most likely, and actually that's the best position for them, because look at this, DK. That zone has decided that it's all pulling out all the stops. We're just gonna be going full send, full chaos mode down to the south. I mean, even Prison is in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Minas Generales, Minas del Valle rather, being right there in contention alongside Chumacera. So I want to see how the teams are gonna look to respond to that. Ooh, already it is going to be the players from the Caliphate Esports team looking to bag a few plays. Germany already having a little bit of a player knock on their end. BRBA also down to a 2-piece right out of the gate here. So quite a bit of aggression as the teams really start bumping heads early on. Ozrox up in Partona. As you said, this is a beautiful position for them, and of course it is super uncontested, right? There's nobody around them for miles, so they can sit back, relax, loot up what little loot there is over in towards that area, and then look to maybe reposition themselves a little bit closer to Minas del Sur or that prison area. Only time will tell, though.
Only time will tell indeed. Let's see now. Oh, they're really looking for those opportunities really close up, trying to see anything that they can get, but ooh, it's gonna be a team that you don't want to go up against. BRBA. Yeah, that's what I thought. Dennis coming in there with, I think that's the ace. Moving on in, but actually RG, they actually want this. They're like, absolutely. We're going to be going for these points, and they get it as well. They get that first point coming on through. Dennis gets taken out immediately there. Now it's just down to one solo already. BRBA are
Wow.
out in last place. Cam Rangers are like, we do not care at all. EA7 also out here, and Amix have just lost a player. 2 are knocked now. It's all going out. What is happening? Team Germany! They've lost one as well now.
The teams came in and they chose violence. That's what they decided
really
on.
Did.
Right? They said, you know what? Yeah, we heard the casters talking about this is the opportunity to bounce back, get some points. Let's go out there and do it exactly like that. And yeah, of course, I'm pretty sure they never heard us at all. They just kind of decided on that all by their lonesome. So I really like where this is going in the zone. Also having a bit of an opportunity here, but they are getting encircled as Amex is now going to look to strike. Good read coming through here from Spike. Goats though. He's going to look to test the water here. Not going to push his luck too far. He doesn't have a whole lot of loot either which way. He's got that Uzi and the VSS. But could that mean a bit of an opportunity? Very rapid fire coming through here from the Uzi, but is that going to be enough to contest Spike as they push up for the wall and locks it in and gets the hit? The ace from Dark, though, managing to really help close up the aggression here. But now, in the zone, they're not out of the woods just yet, right? There's still one more player to go. It is going to be Quick, and Quick is quickly going to try and get himself out of this whole situation. Can he make a stand? He's got a shotty and the UMP. But will it be enough, right? You've got a whole team hunting you. Just pursuing you, trying to find you and get you out of here. That's not the odds that you want to have stacked against you. But we have seen this being turned around in other events. So let's see. Is Quick embracing his inner goat? Is he going to be able to contest a full 1v4 push?
Let's see if he can. I mean, being hunted by a full team is just the worst feeling in the world. But he's going to try and hold his own. He's got enough ammo. He's got all the things he needs. No helmet, though. That's going to be a problem. But right now, they seem to have kind of forgotten or think that he's moved on, right? I mean, they are kind of looking, but they're not checking every room, but he didn't see the player come in, and that's going to be him done. Dusted. Amix unable to really have the game they wanted pretty much the entire day. I mean, in 5 games, 26 points only is going to be a rough start to their finals.
Yeah, at least we can say that when in a 1v4 situation, to give you a higher chance of survival, don't look left. Especially if that's a wall. Don't look at the wall. Look ahead of you. Look at the gap, because that's usually where the players tend to come through. So, yeah, nice effort at least being put in by the side here of Amex. Now we are going to be jumping over to the pressure here in Minas del Sur. As you can see, Motion is trying to get well ahead of the pressure being applied by Magma, but Magma are going to try and keep it hot and heated as Puma is going to be on their knees. Motion now having a bit of an opportunity to come through with the surprises here. So you got player 1 and Bera just looking to double down. Puma unfortunately is not going to be able to survive the mollies, but now it's going to be Rosecar also looking to get their share in the action as they are lending their ears to the shots just developing ahead of them. The mollies, though, could be an absolute downturn for the side here of Magma, and that is it, right? Even though you would expect a team called Magma to survive flames, they don't.
True. You'd think they'd have a little bit more heat tolerance than that, but no, they do not. They're going to be going on out. Motion there with the full squad elim count on their shoulders, and now it is going to be RS moving through, moving in. Final place team, right, in 16th place right now with 10 points. But potentially all to play for here, potentially an opportunity to just shoot up the leaderboard. We saw it at least twice today, right, where the last place or close to last place team just shot forward to the top 3. So entirely possible now with RS. This is the last opportunity they probably have to do so. Tomorrow it's going to get just that much more difficult. But for now, if they want to have a really good game here, this is the game to do it in.
Well, it's also the only opportunity they have left for the day, right? Because this is the last match. So they can't try after this game. They'll have to wait for tomorrow. But let's see what the teams are going to do here. So we do have our lovely loot coming on down. Ooh, like a cherry on top as the smoke comes out to mark the location. And it's right there in Chumacera, right? So, yeah, Roscar kind of blessed with that drop. They don't have to move too far to get their hands on it. Motion, though, gonna try and bless Matic here with a little bit more extra health. Roscar, they could maybe be considering going for that drop as there's no one really to contest all too much up in Chumacera, right? The rest of the lobby is half in zone, half not, right? We do have the players from All for One, Cam Army, I believe that is, as well as in the zone, not there yet. They're all out in the blue, just tanking a little bit of that blue juice. Meanwhile, Ozrox and Team Germany are going to be fighting each other down on that far southern side as Ozrox now looks to move on up. You can see Melas coming through with a beautiful bit of action here. We also do have Kill for Win right here as well, as these teams find each other on the bridge, and that is Kill for Win, aka Star, looking to roll on through Ozrox. Leon, just playing for the position here, gets up on the hill, and this could be where things get a little bit more spicy.
Especially with that off angle, I mean, they do know exactly where he is now, but still, it's going to be difficult to really push forward here with that off angle being right where he is, right? We are seeing Melaz tank a little bit of that health. Don't know if he ran into a little bit of a Molotov or something. Oh, Blue! Doesn't realize he's head and shoulders above that car. He's gonna go on down that. It doesn't do as I thought it would, but it does pick up PC as well. Oh, Melaz trying to do his work here, but down he goes as well, and Ozrox just down to 1. If he can win this one, he can bring back 2 of his teammates at least, but it's gonna be a tall order. They're just fully surrounding him with those nades and everything. He's got a little bit of a corner that he can use. They know where he is. They know where he is now. Oh, not enough though. Soul does go out. Down at least, and it's just up to, what, a 1v2 at this point. 1v3. No, it's still a 1v3. They were able to get that res up and running, so Leon really struggling for time. Nice Molotov. Really good stuff just to break that up a little bit. Try and delay whatever he can. But the M24 in mine might just be enough. Wait a second. Down goes another. Can he get the 1v3? No, he can. Yes, yes he can't. No, he can't. Oh. That was so back and forth there for a minute.
A serious case of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Oh.
Yeah.
Right. What a lot of excitement it is that Ozrox brought through there. They were on the rocks for a little bit of time, but unfortunately for them, Kill for Win was able to get the better of them, and down they went. But yeah, very exciting things. Unfortunately, not a single elimination to show for that entire altercation. I mean, it was pretty close, right? Leon almost had that one in the bag. He did just on the edge, right? He was one cough away from succeeding, but unfortunately that is sometimes how close it gets, and yeah, you just can't do it. Now it is going to be the players here from Roscar and Motion also on the very edge here of Chumacera. 10 teams are going to be left in this lobby, and we are still waiting for 3 teams to roll up from the blue.
We are indeed. There's still plenty of spots to play for as well, and This game, man, usually Miramar's pretty slow, but to have 10 teams by stage 3 is pretty crazy coming on through here. Team Germany, I'm not sure what happened to them, but they got taken almost completely out here, just down to a solo. Not what they needed at all, especially when they're 1 point behind Big Baby for that second place, so they're really trying to fight for it. One for all, still keeping ahead of the rest of the leaderboard. Now that gap, that lead is 12 points. So we'll be seeing them, hopefully for them, continue to move away from the rest of the lobby, right? Big Baby might be able to do something here, might be able to catch up, but if you've got a lead, the top two versus everybody else, and that lead is, 15, 20 points, then you're looking very good for tomorrow.
Yep, that is definitely something to try and aim for. And I mean, one for all, they're doing a pretty good job. 12, what's that? Yeah, 12 points already on the board. So close to 15, almost there. And Matic, yeah, you can't really park there. So you can't park there.
Yeah.
But he's gonna leave it. Will he get it out though?
Come on. No, you changed. Okay.
He's gonna leave it. Yeah.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Change the skin, then it will not be stuck. Anyway.
Yeah, it is what it is. Speaking about unstuck though, it doesn't seem like that is going to be an option here for Cam Army, right? As they don't really have anywhere to get stuck. As, well, Dizzy now makes me swallow my words as he too goes for a little bit of a dip. Finds a better position to get himself out of that. But Matic, oh, I think having that car trouble essentially might have cost him a bit of a position. Now it is going to be in the zone. And the players there from Star, aka Kill for Win, all contesting on the edge of the southern zone, looking for that entry, looking for the position to move into. And Motion, this is a phenomenal setup here for them, right? They've got quite a bit of a controlling angle here ahead of these two teams rolling up.
Oh, it's so hard being a team, out in the blue like this. You're trying to just do anything you can. The zone's ticking away at your health. You don't have a lot of health when you finally get out of the blue and try to move in. The team's waiting for you, does have more health than you do, and if you're not careful, then the play zone itself is going to take you out, as we see in that Elim feed there. But Kill for Win here, Star, they're going to be moving through, trying to do their best here up against MTN. Motion. The Tech even trying to do a 1v2 here, really hedging his bets. Is that going to work out in his favor, though? It's hard to say. Yes, it does, actually. Motion able to take them all out. 8 eliminations on the board so far, but the fight's not over yet. They still have one more team here. PCE. Caliphate moving through. Does get that nice knock. It's just now Matek left alone. Shooter on the off angle. The zone starts to move in. This is where things could get a little dicey for Motion here, right? They're just over on that dip. There's not much they can do here. The zone is away from them, and those off angles, the high ground is just way too much. I think as much and as hard as Motion has fought here for those 8 eliminations, I think this is the end of the road.
Yeah, could very well be. Let's see whether or not the players here from Caliphate is going to be able to get the job done. Matic, yeah, running on borrowed time as Shadow finds the angle. Down he goes. Caliphate now sitting with a very comfortable 8 eliminations next to the name, all the way up to 34 points. I mean, they are knocking on the door here alongside the players from team, or rather the 721s. But let's see how far they can look to push this. Shadow, though, doing a phenomenal job. 6 eliminations. What a contribution this is for the team. Now it's going to be Cam Army getting rushed. Up comes the push. The play. Go away. Getting swept aside. And unfortunately now, new player has everything on his shoulders. Not quite sure if they are going to be able to kind of push through those advances. But here comes King. All the way from Big Baby. Also looking to sneak in a few cheeky plays. T721 also holding up alongside them. And this is T721 trying to fight. They know they are 3 points shy of catching Team Germany and dethroning them. Right, so all they got to do is try and survive. And also we are well within placement point territory. But you don't want to go out in 7s, right? You want to make it at least within that top 5. And Gentlemen, unfortunately, will not have much of a say in the matter, as Team Germany are going to get taken out. 38 points is what they were able to secure with regards to those eliminations. I think that now just ramps them up a little bit closer to 39, if I'm not mistaken, if my calculator is accurate. But we'll see very soon exactly how this is going to play out as the rest of the teams, the final 6, all within the top 6, aside from Roscar, all the way down on 10 points.
11 now. They take out a player of TCE, so that's going to be them throwing a wrench in the works. Are they likely to win here with just a duo? No. But they could really ruin the game for the rest of these squads, especially TCE. Moving in here, they're right behind a 1-for-all in the meantime. Could really be looking for a big win here, right? They got a 2-2 split inside of Chumacera on, and also on the ridge as well to the north side. Big Baby also had a big split that was controlling, but they've regrouped here just to take out 721. So we'll see how that's going to work out for them, and they have to really finish this up quickly because I think that All For One might just try and do something with this. If they hear those shots, they might try and take a little bit of an angle, might try to do something, but I think they're pretty well settled into the middle of Chumacera here as TCE now. We can see them moving in on to the same town as well. Big Baby look like they're actually just going to be... Oh, they're going to go ahead and just regroup, disengage, move away, and call it a day there.
I'm curious to see where this next zone is going to be going, right? Especially if it does center up onto Chumacera, it is going to be quite comfortable for the teams already situated there. But squads like Big Baby, like T721, they are not necessarily going to be particularly too happy with that. But I think if the zone moves away from Chumacera, right, that is where the tables would just be essentially flipped around, right? 721, Big Baby, they might be quite happy with that. So we'll find out in a minute and a bit of change as to exactly what that zone is going to be bringing on through, as our final 6 teams here are yet to make any decisive plays. It is going to be a new player just sitting there admiring the floor and the absolute architectural magnificence that has gone into creating a building such as this. Look at those floors, impeccable, right? Phenomenal lines, just so, I don't know, it feels like it's out of this world. But in the meantime, King now going to try and climb the hill, but he will be denied as Koji comes through with a beautiful play, whoops him right out of that vehicle. Now let's see what the rest of 721 is going to do. Will they look to aggress as well, or just kind of wait for the zone to be revealed?
I think waiting might be the best option here, considering how close some of these top teams are to each other, right? I think you really want to bide your time, especially on that north side. Big Baby and 721 don't really want to be moving too much. Just hold your ground. Just don't get knocked. Don't go crazy. Just hold your ground and wait for that zone to tell you where you're going to be going. We shall see now in just 14 more seconds. As the teams down on the south side, they're just big chilling, right? The teams that are actually in the city, they're just really waiting. Hang on a second. 721 getting knocked out there. Or no, being knocked out. Nope. Are the ones knocking. There we go, as Big Baby now have to fight on 2 different fronts.
Ooh.
Oh, nice little spray. Great response coming in from them because, yeah, it is going to be one coming in here onto the other side and really putting that pressure onto Baby, especially now as the zone has centered up. Big Baby are outside the zone, as are 721, but Big Baby, they are the main position here, especially for one. That is definitely not the way to go for Big Baby. They're going to just try and now be put on the defensive.
Oh, well, let's see if this defensive switch is going to work out for them, as Moreno could also find himself a bit of an opportunity backing off just as he was about to gather that information that could have been the turning point. But 721 instead is going to prioritize that zone positioning, and I think that is a very respectable decision to make. But first, you got to make it to the top, right? Getting stuck on the side of a mountain, not the best place to try and take an engagement as he now moves up. Not quite sure what the angle is there. We can hear the shots now starting to go off here as 721 lays into the side of Big Baby, and that is them going up in a big smoke ball. vehicle not going to survive beyond that point. Now, down to the final 5. It is 721 looking to go for gold, right? We've got to say, though, the players there from Team Caliphate, they've been doing a phenomenal job. Yes, they only have 3 players left, but they have been able to secure themselves 9 eliminations. So they are definitely leading the charge with regards to that aggression. But they've actually been dormant for a little while, right? We've not been seeing all too much really coming through on their end just yet. And, I mean, they're still in the fight here. As Shadow and everybody else is now just quietly moving up, trying to figure out where exactly this next zone shift is going to take them.
I can't imagine it's going to take them very far. Probably going to center up a little bit onto the buildings again. The one thing I will say, I don't love that One for All actually regrouped into the city, because look at 721, they're just now making that move on the ridge line on the north side, taking complete control of that area. And the problem with that is, it's not so much that they're taking control of that side of zone, is that they've got a great overlook onto all of these buildings here. Now, they could potentially be safe here because the fight might happen over their heads, so to speak. Caliphate and 721 might go at each other across the way there and leave them out of it, but still, it is a dangerous, risky position to be in.
Yep, it is, but, you know, with great risk comes potentially some great rewards. And the reward they're going to be looking for here is called the Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. 10 points in addition to what they already have. So, Caliphate, can they elevate their overall positioning here? They are definitely going to try. They are well within that top 5. And if they have a glorious run here, it could really just shoot them up those standings. So let's see if they can pull that one off. In the meantime, the players there for One for All, very well situated in smack dab center zone currently, as we are 30 seconds or so away from seeing that blue zone closure come in. Zone 8 got to follow right up alongside that. But look at the rotations now coming through here from 721, as they are going to be looking to expand their position all across the northern hemisphere of this current zone, right? I think that's a really good read, especially looking at the fact that we've got quite a few hills over there. It does allow them quite a bit of a vantage point into the rest of the teams.
It does indeed, but with that zone actually moving slightly out of town. Yeah, it's not where I expected it to go. It's gone right into the middle. So you've got a little bit of that ridge. So actually it's pushing all of these teams into each other. No one can really, like, T721, they can't stay on that ridge. They're having to move around to the outside. A fantastic rotation from them, by the way. The teams on the outside on the east side now have to move in as well. The only team that doesn't have to do anything is One for All. They can just sit and wait. And if they avoid any windows, any angles, if they just wait, if they allow teams to not know that they're there, they could have a real advantage in this zone.
Yep. They definitely could. It's all now down to... ooh, how it pans out. Tough love with the tough angle. Not having that security that it was hoping for. This is where a new player also needs to be a little bit cautious, as the position has been made known. There we go, just waiting for that quick reload to come through. Zone about to pop. It is going to make things just that extra little bit more spicy for this lobby. 10 players remain. And it's still essentially anyone's game at this point. I really like what T721 are doing here. You can see their spread, right? You got one player over on towards the western side there. In fact, there might even almost be 2 players over on towards the western side. You got one a little bit further up ahead of us there, Aggressor. Yeah, so they're going for a very wide 1-1-1 split. But that would allow them all the flexibility. Especially looking at the fact that there's so many players all situated next to each other, right? So we've got King and Shadow over there. Tough love on the beautiful vantage point here. One, as you've said, they still don't have to move here, Nep. They kind of just parked off, right? They brought their drinks, they brought their chairs, they're just sitting back, relaxing, having a little bit of sparkling water while the rest of the teams are sweating it out here.
They really are, yeah. It's vacation mode for them, and they're doing exactly what they should. The only thing I don't love, I mean, it might be necessary, but I don't love the smoke because that just tells somebody that there's somebody there. However, T7 2-1 moving in onto the southwest side. That's a big rotation coming in from them. And yeah, you're right. One for all. Just have to big chill here. They've widened that gap to 10 points now. Or actually, the gap is closed to 10 points. So never mind. That point's null and void. But if they can just get this win, then they will still have a significant lead against the rest of the lobby. Remember, Big Baby no longer here. So if any point they get now is going to widen that gap. It's really T721 that might be a problem, as we've discussed before, right? They're 11 points behind. And they're looking really good. 6 eliminations, top 5, but this is really slowing down now as we're going to head into stage 9 pretty soon. As the play zone takes out Cam. There we go. Down to just our top 4 teams. And, I mean, it was a solo that goes out to the blue zone, so it's not really anything crazy that's going to happen because of that. It just means there's one less solo to think about. But RS are still here. They're still out there. Tough love. Might just be giving a little bit of tough love over to these teams. So we shall see how that goes for them.
Yep, we'll find out very, very soon. As we are now in stage 9, there is no more running. It is now time to fight. If you want to survive, you want a point, this is how you get it. Right? You're gonna have to try and use up as much of those bullets or utilities as you have, trying to secure yourself the winning amount of points here. As we know, there are a few teams in contention, trying to bring a bit of a shift with regards to those rankings. One for all, definitely going to be trying and lock it in. Is it going to be enough? They've got 4 eliminations. They've got 3 players. So the numbers really looking quite favorable here. Let's see whether or not... Oh, anything is going to happen with those nades. It's coming close. But it's not going to be close enough. Shadow and King have to try and find a way to rotate up. This is where all the cheeky positioning that these teams have been doing now needs to bring something to the foreground. As you can see, King getting picked up. Shadow goes down. And that is the end of a road of one more team. Caliphate getting taken away here. Tough Love up on the ridge. Down he goes as All for One goes for gold. 721. RS. And of course, One for All now. All going to try and contest to see who will be the team to pick up the final winner ticket chicken dinner up for grabs here today.
Well, the queen goes down. It's just down to 2. Frizz up on the front line. Oh, there's somebody right in front of you. Isn't able to take it out, and that's just down to a solo. One for all. Might just deny this point away if he can, but no, he goes on down, and that's 721 taking them out. That's them done, dusted for today. But I think we might have a new leader here.
You think so? Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so yet. I think it's close, but I don't think so yet. Did they close the gap considerably, potentially, maybe? They tried, but also remember the team they were going up against, right? They needed 10 points to catch them. The team that they were fighting also got a decent serving of points. So, you know, I would be the one to say it. Let's have the numbers do all the saying here. Let's take a look at the leaderboard and see exactly where these teams are after this final match of the day.
Oh, you're right. You're the math guy. You right. Okay, that's fair. One for all. 9 points ahead, just able to squeeze on by, but that is not the lead that they were looking for at the end of game number 5, right? 7-2-1, throwing a real wrench in that team's plans here, as we're going to be looking over to Big Baby as well with 43 and Caliphate with 39. Team Germany as well, dropping down to that 5th place with also 39. So still all to play for in the top 5, 20 points between 5th and 1st place right now, but that's where the points start to drop down. 33, 30, 29, 27. I gotta say, DK, it's kind of looking like 7th and above are the only teams that could really qualify tomorrow.
I mean, qualify for prize money, yes, right? That is exactly the thing. But so, I think up to 4th place, right? 4th and down, there could still be a little bit of a shift, right? So, I mean, 3rd place, yes, they've been pretty decent. I'm pretty sure that Caliphate and Team Germany are going to look to come and chase Big Baby in tomorrow's matches. But out of that, yeah, I don't necessarily see too much of a shift coming through. I think from fourth place, a little bit further down, there's still a lot of wiggle room, right? So if the BRBA comes back tomorrow with a vengeance, they can quite easily get themselves situated up into that fourth place. So they just need 10 points to catch up, right? It is becoming, of course, increasingly more challenging for the teams over on that right-hand side of the leaderboard to do exactly that. But it might change, right? If they bring in a lot of effort coming through for tomorrow, this could be the opportunity to kind of regain a lot of that territory and, of course, get themselves up into prize money positioning, right? That's what you want to play for. And, of course, also the big old bragging rights going along with it as well.
Yep, that is very, very true. I'm excited for tomorrow, man. We've got a great rondo up ahead of us, and if the teams play like they have, we've had action all night. So those points definitely going to be shifting, changing, switching places up and down, left and right. It's going to be all over the place, and we are here for it. So, yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be one to watch, as it is going to be the last day also then, right here for the Always On Poland edition coming through, brought to you by TETO Games. So, of course, if you want to get involved with TETO Games, look down in the video description. Their link is in there as well. If you want to get your teams registered, and we could be shouting out your name in one of the upcoming seasons as well. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to. Today, I think the teams actually brought quite a bit of heat onto the battlefield. Curious to see how that is going to develop coming into that final day. And of course, on that, you know, there's not much else more to left to say, right? The only thing we got to do from here is come back tomorrow, same time, same place, even more insane action. Brought to you by the Always On Poland edition right here. Season 2, day number 2, coming in hot. We'll love to see you then. And until then, stay safe, stay frosty. We'll see you all later.